It's been 3 years, 5 months, and 29 days since intercontinental warfare took place on European soil. But yet again, we're back. It's the third iteration of the poLANd.tf Invitational. We have the reigning champions here, Witness Gaming, on a 6 LAN win streak, looking to retain the crown. Will Americans' finest be able to compete? Will they be able to snatch it off of their heads? Or maybe DM, the Premiership winners, might be able to compete as well. Or shall we even consider the team with the fanciest of elves? We have 3 days of competition, 60 matches, 16 teams, 1 winner. You're not going to want to miss this. Welcome to poLANd.
Welcome back to poLANd 2026. I'm TurboTabs. I'm joined on the couch with Wandom. We did have a D-Maul on the couch at one point, penciled in, but the boy's gone missing. That just goes to show how hard we party here, Wandom.
It is. It's not for the faint of heart. It's many things to do. You have to stay up all night partying with TurboTabs, and then be ready bright and early next morning.
Drink. Those are the mantras we sing.
How's your evening, TurboTabs?
It was going all right. D-Maul is drunk himself into a small coma, so probably won't see him for a little while. But
I like
so
that this is
mission
what we're saying.
accomplished, basically.
I like that this is the story that we're making up for why D-Maul isn't here.
Yeah. No, not because he has the time management of a small child. No. It wouldn't be that. No.
He's actually fighting a really important battle right now. He found like a shelter puppy on the way here, and it's like the most adorable little puppy you've ever seen. And unfortunately, like if he doesn't stop and take care of it right now, like right this second, it's over.
Well, despite whether D-Maul's on the couch or not, the games continue, the LAN continues.
Yeah.
poLAN is now into its second day officially. The group stage is over, best of ones are out the window, and we have a few things that we can start talking about. But to review on that day one, this is how the standings go. Need I remind you, there were 2 groups in our little group stage, and one of them was Group A. I believe this is Group A here with Witness Gaming, Dirty Maggots, Joey Guns, and Fjord Gaming. No surprises here, Random, and commiserations to Aragosting Hazard, the Compound, and EP Nappers. They will not really be seeing any more demo night because they've been knocked out, but we will be seeing a bit more of Aragosting Hazard or the Compound possibly because they'll be put into the lower bracket, whilst these top 4 teams will be put straight into the upper bracket, and maybe we'll be seeing their games immediately.
I think there is, when you just sort of look at this, there is a very, very close tiebreaker there between Fjord Gaming and Aragosting Hazard. I think I was watching Aragosting Hazard play versus Joey Guns, and I was actually very impressed with how they were playing. So to be honest, I am maybe slightly EU biased. A bit gutted to see them actually not make the top 4, because I do think that they're playing really, really well. It's a lot of sort of up-and-coming European players that are sort of really trying to make their mark. They've been playing really well. It's a shame not to see them in that upper bracket, but I actually think that Aragosting Hazard, for my money, is probably the scariest team in the lower bracket for the moment.
Yeah, I think this is just going to show the nature of this invitational tournament. People forget that this is an invitational. People had to qualify here. People had to earn their way. They had to show enough clout in their online sort of space to make their way into this LAN. And yeah, so these teams have done it. Obviously, that isn't the only group we had. We had so many teams at this LAN. We had to separate it off into a group B. And here we have the standings for that now. White Lotus, right at the tippity top, right alongside Mandem, because they drew in their game. So they're both sharing the crown, whilst Kek Minoin, Samurai, and Alan's Workshop managed to get into that top 4. Chuds and PD2T as going in straight into the low bracket, but showing some sort of victories and bits there. And Lankle Monitor, bless them, they were like our last-minute addition because obviously we had a team drop out. But you got to give credit where credit's due. They turned up, they played their games, and they played them admirably. What's wrong, production? Ah, yes, there we go.
Wow, look at that.
Upper bracket and lower brackets are here displayed on your screen. So obviously the top half is your upper bracket. That is basically if you lose one game, don't worry, you've still got another chance because you're going to play against one of these teams that have automatically put in the lower bracket. But any of these lower bracket teams, they've only got one chance, Wandom, to keep themselves in the tournament.
I feel really bad. I want to give a shout out to both PD2T and the Lankle Monitors because they played an absolutely cataclysmic battle for who actually got the bottom seed in their group.
Wait, hold on. What the? That's Lankle Monitor, isn't it? Supposed to be the Finns.
This
Okay,
is
I'm
correct.
sure that this is correct. So yeah, I guess the Finns wanted to bow out a bit early. Lankle Monitor taking one for the team.
Not that surprising that when you present the Finns with the opportunity to not play and maybe focus a bit more on the bar, that they would choose that option.
Yeah. I guess maybe they just kind of signed themselves off for some sort of situation. I mean, I think Lankle Monitor were more than excited to keep playing the game. So, credit to them to keeping the fire alive. But is there anything in this upper bracket or this lower bracket that's surprising you at all, Wandom?
So the immediate thing, just kind of looking at, I think you can kind of, for the moment, especially in that first little round, the lower bracket's obviously waiting for the losers of the first round of the upper bracket to actually begin. And then whoever loses in the upper bracket will be playing against the lower bracket teams. There's not a nice way of saying this. I don't think that any of these 4 lower bracket teams are going to be putting up much of a fight against any of the top upper bracket teams, unfortunately. So yeah, but however, in the lower bracket, or in the upper bracket rather, I do actually think there's 2 interesting games actually. The first for me is I think it's going to be White Lotus versus Joey Guns that I believe is going to be on Fireside Cast in a little bit. I am very interested to see. We obviously saw last night the White Lotus come up against that product pocket pick of the Samurai, and they managed to deal with that. But the other big EU gimmick team that we have is Joey Guns. And clearly, they have done no research.
Yes. Oh, well.
Well,
Look who
well.
decided to turn up. Wellity.
Can you believe it, guys? Look at this.
Look, he
We
just
found.
strolls in. You think you're better than those? You think you're like the rest of the players? You could just turn up at 12?
Yeah, sorry. I still have my player's mentality.
Well, welcome to the couch, Dean. Well, we were just introducing and reminding everybody of like what happened on day 1. All the fallings, all the standings, and whatnot, and how that is broken off. And going to start off our day 2 here at LAN. We're now in the playoff sections now. So, gentlemen, strap in. We're here for infinite time potentially in our little progressive rule set. If you're living under a rock, the progressive rule set is a rule set pioneered by your very own Banny Vincent. He is going to be basically spearheading this rule set where the players get as much time as they need to complete the game. So there's chances for a huge amount of comebacks. There's loads of opportunity to kind of really dig your heels in and think like we can make anything happen and the time isn't going to be squeezing us. But to an admin that is like organizing the event, they need time. And my goodness, there's been a battle of wits between players and admins, whether or not this rule set's come through. But we've managed to make it here in the end, and we're playing it here live at LAN. We were doing this to kind of appeal to all the wider world outside the EU scape to come and play our tournament. But, it kind of worked. Kind of. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting at the very least. You like seeing things like changed up, don't you, Demore?
No, I literally hate changes. I hate new maps. I hate unlocks. But I do think the good thing about this rule set is that games ends on the high note. You know, winning a round.
That's got to be nice, Wandem. I know you're a big opponent to this rule set, at least for the majority of time before we had this little tournament. But even you have admitted that you like just ending on like a nice sort of note for the round. That you don't have that sort of kind of conclusion in your mind where you see 4 rounds up and you're like, oh, okay, there's 5 minutes left. This team's basically gonna win.
I think it is a bit weird in combination with the 4-minute round timer. I think that's obviously not something that we played with in Europe before either. And we're seeing again, I think what we've seen in TF2 for many years is that in Europe we're just a bit more willing to play to the rule set in a way that the Americans maybe aren't. At that 4-minute round timer, for me, is almost like the bigger story than to some extent that the cumulative time. Obviously, the cumulative time is nice, and it will lead to, I think, especially as we go on later into the tournament, I think it's really going to start testing some of these European teams that aren't used to playing these hour-long games. We already saw it in the TF2 playoffs. I think we got a perfect argument for why maybe you shouldn't run the config, to be honest. I don't think the playoffs was the best showing of the cumulative overtime. But yeah, I don't know. I think for LAN, it's probably good. It's nice that the winning moment is going to be when a team wins the round and the crowd is, cheering all at once, and that's going to be good. I just hope that the run-up to that final little moment isn't excruciating like it was last weekend. Thoughts, Demore?
I mean, I don't know what to think about it. Let's be honest. Like the way I see the game changes drastically compared to 10 years ago. Like I used to be a big hater of slow gaming, like stalemates, stuff like that. But nowadays, I kind of like it. I like the way. I mean, I don't
Bring
like
it
the stalemate
back.
itself. No, I mean, I don't like the stalemate itself, but I like the way people break it. Where the
Oh,
way
yeah.
people find a way
Yeah.
to break it. Like I don't like the plan A of most team in EU, which is bring a sniper instantly. But I like the way Mandem plays. I like the way Witness plays it. I used to like the way we used to do it with Orphans. But the rest of the EU teams, like Dirty Maggots, Mac team, who else? The Yak team. All they do, bring a sniper. I think it's so that's one of the reason stalemates are boring to watch.
Well, obviously, this progressive time set does kind of promote a bit more to the aggressor. Now, you're not so much rushed anymore. You have that time. If you're completely unaware of how this progressive rule set works, is basically for the first 25 minutes, you're just playing some regular TF2. And then once those 25 minutes are over, it takes a look at the score, and whoever's got the highest points, they just need to win one more round, and then they win the game. But if you're losing, you need to match your opponent. So if they 4 rounds up, you're going to have to earn 4 rounds in a row, and then whoever gets the next round wins. So obviously that can take a long time. We still have the mercy rule of 5 rounds. So if we get to 5 rounds, just the game is over. And we've lowered the time a little bit, 25 minutes, so to kind of offset all of that extension of time. And then obviously the rounds have been lowered down to 4 minutes as well to kind of encourage teams to be like, hey, start pushing or we're going to start resetting. So, but there has been an attitude change, I think a little bit before this rule set about attacking and whether or not defense is the best way. It seems to correlate when Cadus started going away. But, but it has been nice to kind of have this rule set come in and reassure teams that they can play normally though. Wando.
I think for me, it really feels like a big sort of team coordination check whether or not you're able to break those holds and stalemates effectively, right? I think that's why when you watch a team like, for example, Witness play, they're so good and so coordinated when they're trying to break these stalemates. It's something that you on full fence were very good at as well, is finding those angles and finding the small advantages and being able to properly push on that. I think for me, It's become my way of sort of gauging how high up a team is in terms of their skill level, of are they able to break those barriers of these last holds, because I think a majority of them, they look difficult, but they are breakable, right? There are pressure points you can apply to. You can spam down a gun. You can do all these things. Spam down the gun, which leads into something else, which leads into something else. You might get a pick and then playing off of that and stuff. And that's something that the top teams are really good at. So far, for me, to be honest, this tournament, it looks like Witness are kind of the only team capable of playing to that level, maybe. I think maybe just yesterday. I wonder, Dumul, if you maybe think there's some of these other teams that can sort of hit that level as well.
I mean, to the level of Witness, yeah, like Witness still have the edge on everyone else. But as I said, Mandem has it. I don't really know about the Americans. Like the Americans used to be the none of classes kind of region, but since a few years, like I used to watch a lot of RGL at some point because I had night shift. So I was watching a lot of RGL. I was surprised by how much they play sniper. Like I think it was mainly between Froyo and G6. G6 had bot mode playing sniper 24/7, and I think it was Froyo with Jay on soldier, and Jay was sniping as well. It was boring. It was
Man,
boring.
you used to be like the sniper main man as well, and even you think it's boring. Good God.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Well,
I used to snipe a lot.
How about this, fellas? Okay, we'll talk a little less about the rules, about the current culture right now in cellmating. Let's get into like a little bit of the details of the next game, and to get you in the mood for our next game, we've actually got a DM interview. So they're going to be, it's going to be our our content coming up for our upcoming game. So take it away, production. Let's have a look at this interview.
Welcome back to Condawg's Corner. I've got two members of the DM squad. I've got AF and Bot Mode over here, fresh off of their Premiership win. Hi, gents. How are we both doing?
I'm doing all right. Getting set up has been kind of painful because everything keeps like resetting.
Oh, a couple breakages here and there.
Yeah. The PC just suddenly decides to say, Windows will reset in under a minute.
Oh,
And then you will just have your PC reset for no reason.
that's not good. That's not good. Bot Mode, how's your you've obviously flown over from America. How's it been?
I feel beautiful. I slept for 10 hours last night, so I'm feeling great.
You're refreshed and
I
ready to
am
rumble.
beyond refreshed. I woke up this morning, zambz was knocking on the door, and I'm like, oh, I guess I could be awake now. It's time.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll turn ahead. Obviously, we're on day one of LAN. You've got the group stage coming up today. Your group, it's not terrible, right? Are you happy with the groups?
Up until about 2 hours ago, I thought they were still the old groups, so they like changed them a little bit. I'm perfectly happy to play Witness in groups. It's good for me.
Okay. You'd rather get them out of the way.
Yeah, I'll say that. Get them out of the way. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Deal with them first, right?
Yeah.
If we think back, a week ago, you had what some might say was a bit of an upset win against Mandem. I think most people will probably put Mandem above you. But you obviously you came into that final, you crushed them into the floor.
Yeah.
Is the result going to be the same on LAN? What's going on?
Well, I don't have 100 ping on LAN, so I think the game will be very, very easy compared to how it was online. I would say, I feel like our team is, criminally underrated right now.
Criminally underrated?
Even after the win, it feels like people be hating, you know?
Okay.
People be hating for sure.
Wait, after you think the same? Do you think you're criminally underrated?
They didn't even make us a preview video.
Ooh.
Or we weren't worth it.
Is that some shade at production?
I'm not sure. I think they did underrate us for that to happen, but
Okay.
because they have 3 preview videos and one of the Prem winner doesn't have one.
Wow, that's a little bit of spice from you there, Af, isn't it? Okay.
That's
I
what
see.
you wanted.
If all right, one question for you. All right, LAN predictions. Where are you going to finish? Give me a number. Is it top 3?
It's definite. I think anything but top 2 would be a disappointment.
It would be a disappointment.
Yeah, if it wasn't top 2, at least.
Okay. I respect it. Bot Mode's saying number 1.
Number 1.
Wow. Okay. I like it. And final question for you, gents. Who are you most excited to play against? We've got 3 big teams. I mean, Bot Mode, you play against the Americans a lot. Af, you probably haven't. Have you ever played against Americans
No,
before?
the first time I played the Americans was when we scrimmed them yesterday with 0 setup and warm up at all.
Okay.
So we boosted their confidence a little bit.
Okay, yeah. Put them on a pedestal. Who are you excited to play though?
I'm excited to roll everybody with 5 ping.
Wow.
Literally everyone. I'm less excited to play the Americans because I have 30 ping versus them. But the Europeans, I have been playing with 100 ping and it has been miserable.
Been a bit rough, hasn't it?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me, guys. This was Condawg's Corner. See you next time.
We've got Af on Scout, bot mode on the fellow Scouts as well. Jordy and KN are playing the Soldier classes, zambz on Demo, and Juxta on Medic. Wandom, DM have been making waves.
Yeah.
Not only have they been making waves online, I feel like they've been making waves here at LAN.
Yeah, they were looking really good, and then they played Witness and got 5-0'd.
That's not the positive attitude I was expecting. Demo, bail him out here. They tied against the Americans.
Yeah, but they also got 5-0 by a witness.
Oh my God! Can
in
we?
In a strong fashion.
Well.
But
I mean,
I like the pictures. Don't
Thank
get don't get fooled by it. The height differences. Like there's a.
Oh yeah, you can. I guess if you put it.
This
I
is
guess if
very
you put
funny.
it into the computer, and started doing some calculations, you could probably determine who's here and all this. But yes, you're right. They're not all sharing the exact same height.
Like,
But
Juxta,
we like to keep them nice and centered here on our little graphics. But
yeah, like I mean, Juxta is literally 2 meters, so don't get fooled by it.
which one's is my mic or is his mic? Keep going.
Keep going.
It's fine, apparently. But, yeah, so this is Dirty Maggots. They're going to be facing off against minoin Samurai as well. So, thoughts on the minoin Samurai,
From what I've saw, I think it's a really good matchup for Dirty Maggots. I don't think they're going to struggle much against these guys. They are kind of part of the same circle jerk as well, so they know each other well. But yeah, I give the edge to DM. Do we know the maps already or not?
We don't know the maps yet. I'm going to slow it down, Demo.
Okay,
I'm not
okay.
going to, I'm not going to rush things here and all this. I've even brought up the lovely little rosters for minoin Samurai. Maybe you've not been keeping up with things. So this is minoin Samurai. Now you can tell they're a lot more of a rambunctious bunch as they fling their players around in the photos. So we've got Flick on Scout and also being carried by the team. SNH is hanging out. Silvers and Bloke are on the Soldier classes. Mac is there on Demo, and then Eon is not carrying Flick at all on the Medic class. What can you tell me about this team?
They're
Wandom?
so mad at Flick that they've already dismembered him. That's not.
Yeah, 3 times so. But this team, they're a happy bunch. It's a real good time. Every time I'm watching these guys, it seems like they're giggling, they're laughing,
Yeah.
they're making little jokes. Is it important to have fun in the game of Team Fortress 2 when you're making a competitive team?
Of course. That's why you're here if you're not doing it to have fun. I'm going to let you in on a little secret, Turbo. There's no money being made here.
What?
You're not having fun. I don't know what you're doing.
Wait, you guys not getting paid? I'm getting paid.
We'll have to have a chat with JMax about that afterwards. But I think I agree with Demore in terms of this matchup. I know these are all friends. It means the server chat when these two teams play against each other is hilarious. I remember speaking to Bot Mode about how it took him a bit of time to adjust to the fact. He had to keep reminding himself that these are very good friends playing against each other.
Oh, yeah. I guess British sensibilities is basically the meaner you are, the friendlier the friendship is. So these guys are visceral with each other. It's like, even I am taken aback sometimes when I see some of the Steam chats and all this stuff. I need to wipe the logs after, maybe have a quick check on slurs.tf to make sure everyone's on their best behavior. Demol, so you were asking about maps earlier. We are in a best of 3 format now. How much do you think this enables teams? Do you think this enables any of these 1-2 teams in particular? Wandom, please pass the microphone to Demol. I want to know what he has to say.
I think it favors a bit DM, but I think anyway they have a better matchup. So, but this is where things are interesting. Like the draft is really important now.
Well,
What are
I'm
we-
glad you
what
mentioned
do
the
we
draft
have?
because we've got the draft happening right now, live. And now we are obviously picking 3 maps here. So to clue you in, the ones that are lighting up green, those are the ones that are actually being picked. The ones that aren't lighting up green, those are the ones being banned. So, and obviously the avatar corresponds with what ban they made. So Granary being banned out by minoin Samurai, Product being banned out by Dirty Maggots. These 2 maps, no surprises, I think, so much. I think Product is like a pocket pick, even though minoin Samurai lost against White Lotus. They still feel confident on that map. Gullywash is our first pick from Dirty Maggots. Process followed by minoin Samurai. Thoughts, opinions, D-Mall? Any shocks?
Well, so far I'm really surprised. DM banning Product, I feel like they fear that map so much, even though they have bot mode. I know the rest of them are not really confident on this map, but banning it first phase against the Mac team, that they don't really look good on it. So I don't know what about it, but and picking Gully against Mac team as well, I'm surprised as well. I don't think it's that good of a map for DM, and Mac team has always been a weird team to play on this map. Their soldiers are good on this map.
Yeah, but they do have some good soldiers over on Dirty Maggots as well. Sorry, DM, I should say, for bot mode's sake. But yes, they have got some very good soldiers, and usually it's pretty nice to make your soldiers feel comfortable on your map picks. Isn't that right, Random?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think for me, the meta right now feels extremely focused on how your mids pan out. We're seeing, especially with the way that DM like to play, is it sort of in their essence, right, like they hate not holding, and because of that, sort of the main big aggression points come whenever it is that they actually are just going on mid and they have to have these trades. They're very unwilling to go for the sort of smaller sacks. I think map like Process really favors them. I'm honestly surprised, I think, to see them, because I also think that Jordy and KN do have a pretty nice read of how to play specifically Process mid. I think I like the way that they play a very passive Process mid, but then they sort of, their bombs exist to alleviate the pressure of the opponent going forwards. They're very non-committal in that sense as well, right? They'll high bomb up and sort of land on their own side, sort of mostly just to try and take the top ground. But yeah, I don't know. Like Demul, I'm looking at this pick ban. I'm thinking a 2-0 Dirty Maggots.
Yeah, I think so as well. As you said about the process mid, I don't like the way DM played that map, but that is true that they are not committing at all on mids, but when they lose an advantage, they are committing. Like they are literally throwing bodies. Jordy is committing, 10 seconds later the rest are coming. You don't know why there's 10 seconds delay between Jordy's bomb and the rest, but there is a delay. And yeah, I feel like a 2-0 as well.
Okay, so no Sunshine's going to be involved in this. Maybe we can at least touch upon this Bagel and Metalworks bans. Bagel, obviously, Cough, maybe a bit more uncomfortable for some teams. I feel like it can be very intense of a map to be playing. Maybe it's early morning. You're like, I don't really want to play Cough, man. It's too early. I've just woken up. Metalworks, though. Is it me, or is Metalworks going through like a black sheep stage? Everyone's like, I hate this map. This map is evil, and all because of that, that progressive rule set. It's made this map dirty.
I mean, it kind of went under the radar, in my opinion. Like people hated Snake last, but Metalworks last has always been hell to play in it. So yeah, Metalworks was not a fan favorite map anyway from people.
I thought it was all right out of all the the new maps that were coming in and out of TF2, but that's neither here nor there. Gentlemen, I'm going to get just a quick score out of you, a little prediction, make your brains feel bigger if you get it right, before we throw it over to our casters.
3-0 Gully for DM. I think it's going to be 2-0
never mind.
Process.
There's stuff with your predictions. We're going straight to our casters because they're going live.
Look at that. Just cut us off completely with anything we wanted to talk about Rook. We're just going to have to straight away get into the game because these gamers are keen. They want to play for the first round of the upper bracket. zambz immediately feeling a lot of pressure on this Gullywash mid. He will not die though. And actually Bloke and Stills both falling on the other side. They do find Af at the very least, but it's looking like a decent mid. Okay-ish for DM so far. KN goes down as well though. It's not looking all that hot for either team all of a sudden. They're just kind of peeking and prodding around this point. Health's looking a lot stronger for the Samurais right now. And finally a bit of aggression across against Flick, trying to maybe keep the charge here for his team with the scout missing as well. Now that's Momo out of the equation. Looks like it's a 1 mid at the tail end of that. That's a damage out to Drix as well. Actually gets taken down by a Mac, and that is a 1 mid fight for the minions.
Yeah, that's a really nice start for them. Honestly, with Mac going so low in the earlier part of that round, I was feeling like it was going to be a little bit awkward, but they managed to hold on, keep themselves in good stead, and, well, as you said, picking up Juxta is key, right? This should be a chance for Kekminian Samurai to push into this last. Uber comes in immediately, and here comes the push.
Trying to lock up that right spawn immediately. A little bit of cap time as well, forcing players around. Look, being the first to fall though, trade out for KN on the other side, but it doesn't matter because nobody else can get to the point in time. They're just being blocked off completely, and that's a very quick first round out of the Samurais in less than 2 minutes, coming out swinging straight away.
Yeah, really, really nicely done. And I think, you know, the desk was talking about those mids and just how important they are, how much of a focal point they are. I think especially true on Gully. If you get wiped on mid, it's kind of Jova, right? Immediately, Kekminian Samurai show us what that means, right? They need to focus again on this mid, make sure they don't lose anybody. It was a hair's breadth between them losing this and winning this in the previous round.
You gotta keep that performance up if they want to prove everybody wrong. Have this be only a twofer for the side of DM. So far, so good. They are certainly winning this mid fight again. I mean, trade out Bloke for Af so far. And Sylv's going out there again. It's basically the same exact mid this time. Jordy is the one to fall instead of KN. It's looking like DM are looking a little bit better. They've adjusted. They've found the response to this, and Eon goes down as well. Looks like that is indeed a 1 mid fight for DM. They found a response, and it's just Bloke left alive, who, well, might be going for a cheeky bomb here, but nah, he's been spotted. There's nothing he can do. He has to sit back and wait for the danger to come his way.
Yeah, really like that from Dirty Maggots, making sure this time they did not lose Af in kind of the earlier part of that fight. Obviously, keeping those scouts alive for the late game is really nice. And when you kind of lose them immediately, they struggle to hold back a lot of the pressure that Kekminian Samurai were otherwise able to leverage. So nice change up, and now they're the ones pushing into this last and looking for a chance to just use the super, right?
With that full ad as well, it's very easy to make a response here if it works out. As they go in through the shutter door, they have to do that sentry, and they do find it fairly quickly, but now they have to find everything else as well. Mac is still showing below the point. They haven't really locked people into spawn too much here, pressuring them a lot, but that Heavy is also doing a lot of work. Jordy goes down. Nobody's on the point whatsoever yet. They can't get onto Mac. Nobody went through water or anything under the point to try and get him out of there, and that's a wasted push. Nothing comes of it at all.
Especially since they had all the time in the world to really make that happen. Dirty Maggots, I think, really jumping the gun. As you kind of said, not dealing with the demo, not dealing with the heavy. Kind of the three, you know, things to focus on are the sentry, the demo, the heavy. And otherwise, you can't really get that push going, especially in the later parts of it. It gets a little bit slow. So it's going to be Kekminian Samurai pushing out, getting that second, and already pressuring onto mid. Flick is looking for a chance to get that Uber and just get in there as Mac jumps forwards. He's a lot of damage, but importantly doesn't go down, but doesn't kill anybody either.
A non-explosive ICBM launched directly into the combo. Not really finding anything, but just a good zoning out of that Uber. Jordy goes down, Bomo might just find death as well. He does live for now, but eventually gets cleaned up. They do get another Uber out of the side of DM though, and Eon is left in completely no man's land, but he's dodging and weaving. Finally, Af finds the one pistol shot to clean him up before dying himself. And now they just have to somehow keep Juxta safe. And looks like zambz is doing an okay job at that so far. Nobody by the, on minion side has managed to find that medic. So they're going to have a decent ad to hold this with, but they also are on their own last. And with spawners coming up, unless Jordy can find some pretty good damage and kills here, it's looking like they're going to have to stay on that last for the time being as well for the side of DM. I guess it depends on how fast the minions can get back into the second bite. I guess they're giving it up. They couldn't really commit to capping it, and they will be able to hold on the side of DM. Fair enough.
Yeah. It's going to be DM starting to settle in with a pretty standard hold. They take a lot of players actually away from choke here. Not in a way that I thought they would, but not a lot of ways for them to push forward. As we kind of said before, this team is not really willing to throw a lot of those small sacks forward, especially into mid here. It's a little kind of a moot point. be a bit of a trade of damage here, but they're going to get some space. They're going to start to move up, but that adit really isn't that big. They're potentially looking for a trade, and they've got good spacing.
Yeah, they already find one frag onto Bloke, but they're just stalling on the side of the minions. Finally, they get their own Uber, and it's going to be an exchange. It's a little bit better of a pop for Juxta. He doesn't have to flash nearly as much either, because nobody else is close to him. Meanwhile, Eon is very busy just trying to keep his team alive, but as the Ubers fade and we're into the post-fight, it's going to matter much more where your positions are. And with a soldier down before the fight even started, minions are already at a bit of a disadvantage. That said, though, they find KN. They don't lose anybody else yet, and with Bloke recoalescing to the fight, even though he dies, just makes a little bit of room. Silvs goes down, though, SNH as well, and slowly DM are finding the frags they need to. Just 3 players left, and they're all in choke, so pressure them out, get them out of there, get that mid back under control, and get yourself a chance of actually converting around.
Yeah, it was a nice bomb early from Silvs to kind of, so that's to just like provide space for their team, but unfortunately Dirty Maggots kind of were aware that it wasn't going to be too much and it was just going to be that fade. They walk forward, they catch a bunch of damage onto Minion Samurai, and they just kind of leverage it really well. Bombo got really low, but again, Juxta is so aware of what's going on. It's going to be an attempt to kind of pressure on in here, but Bloke is not going to let that one happen, as it is going to be even Ubers on this last run out.
Yeah, that's going to make it a bit harder for DM to get in. They already couldn't do it on a full Uber ad. Now they're going to have to work even harder to try and get into this last, and they're being very passive as well, maybe expecting the minions to send some sort of sack out, but they're perfectly content holding this last. Again, they're up around, so they don't have that much initiative to really do anything. Playing for the round resets in this rule set is a lot more valuable, especially when you're already up around, and you can't win until that overtime kicks in unless you get to the score limit, which at this rate, I don't think these teams are pulling off right now with how slow they're playing. So can't blame them. They're just going to chill here. Bomo maybe trying to see if he can get under. And they've probably spotted him on the side of minions, so they're going to be ready for that. But he's got a soldier buddy helping him out as well. And Jordy's just going to waltz on up that point, maybe see if he can catch somebody out. Just find anything, some sort of leverage here as KN gets flamed on by a Pyro. There's the cap time coming through Jordy, actually on the paint train. That's a lot of cap time just bought by himself. And that makes it very easy for Bomo to clean that up and get that cap on the side of DM. That's one round on their board. And just like that, they've equalized it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing about Gullywash, right? It's getting that back gap or like that sneaky little play from water. I feel it is just so prominent. And I love the pain train change. I love to see soldiers actually playing around those unlocks and having, because I feel like soldier actually has the most choice in terms of unlocks, right? Yeah. Has the access to all these different options, and I love it when teams actually do it.
That's how we know that Jordy really has that big brain everybody keeps hailing him for. He knows exactly when to do it. Perfect timing now. Back to another mid-fight. zambz getting the early jump here onto Mac, but ultimately nobody fallen just yet, as Bomo will actually be the first to fall on the side of DM, and that maybe compromised their mid a little bit as Jordy Af also go down. They find Silvs on the other side, but that's about it. zambz kind of caught in no man's land as well, and there you go. That's the rest cleaned up. Mac even getting the samurai kill onto KN to really round it out, and that's another mid-fight one for the side of KMS, as they're probably going to have a pretty easy time taking this all the way to last. Sure, Bomo's up on the sentry early, as best as you can, but a Soul Man defense so far, and it's already being spammed out as well. He's not going to have an easy time. It's very unfortunate. This might be a very difficult last hold for a DM to pull off. I guess we'll have to see how KMS approach it as they get themselves ready in this lobby, ready for this Uber push, and maybe another round on the board very quickly.
It is going to have that Pyro here, which I don't always see, especially when it's on Disad, but I don't hate it. Could be a nice way to buy a little bit of extra time. Player already goes and gets flashed into water here as the Uber used very early. They aren't going to be able to destroy that sentry very easily. In fact, they're first taking down KN, and they're getting Bloke on the point. No one is able to stop them.
Yeah, the sentry's not even covering anything. It's just sitting in spawn. Everybody else is behind it, and Bloke just waltzes onto the point with a scout buddy, and there you go. That's another round for the Samurai, just that easily and just that quickly. Well, plenty of time left to play for, obviously, but they're showing that this really is a map pick that maybe, as the analysts were saying, DM shouldn't have taken so lightly against KMS. Apparently, they really do perform quite well on Gullywash. I guess we'll see if they can continue that momentum. But yet another mid-fight, yet another opportunity. Mac again feeling a bit of pressure early, but managing to stave it off for now as the bombs go around all over the place. And that's a nice one by Silvs. They deep into the combo. Doesn't really find anything, but that's a lot of damage. And that forces these DM players to play a bit more carefully. And Juxta eventually does get cleaned up as Jordy tries to bomb across, but gets completely denied off of anything more than one rocket onto Eon. And unless this scout chase, which is going very, very well for DM right now, gets onto Eon, he falls down as well. And unfortunately, Flick just can't take 2 scouts all at once with that. Very unfortunate. Salvaging the fight there for DM. ultimately. And nobody capping mid just yet either. Finally, it's going to be DM. Actually gives them a little bit of an advantage here with that late def out of Eon.
Yeah, no, really nicely done. They managed to actually push them off the height with the scatter guns, and from there it's really easy picking. So well played by DM. I did think that Kekminian Samurai were going to be able to find an advantage there, but they slipped up a little bit off the back of kind of just getting pressured back into choke, not having the ability to heal some of these extra players, and it was a real problem. Gonna look for a snipe here. Momo over on it, but doesn't hit the headshot, importantly, onto Mac here, and otherwise that would have been kind of death knells for Kekminian Samurai.
Very ambitious play, very forward thinking here out of Bomo to immediately pick up that sniper, maybe see if they can switch things up here a little bit with this impending stalemate. Although the bit of an ad that Juxta has seems to be playing into their hands now as they pressure themselves into second here. Eon just doesn't have it. They don't really have much staying power for the side of the minions, and they know this, so they're just backing off into this lobby area, probably to last. It's going to be more of a hold at this stage, but it is going to be equal Ubers, and DM, even though they managed to pull it off last time around, they do have to make it work again. And I don't know if Jordy's already switched to the pain train. Perhaps he has, but you also think that maybe they've wisened up to it. And then again, they also do have the sniper right now, so they're probably opting to play around that instead. He is in main. He doesn't really find anything just yet, but maybe a bit of a distraction. Jordy's going to make things work a bit better for them. They do trade him out effectively for Sylves, and has to open up maybe a little bit for a nice surf out of bot mode. As the power just waltzes up forward, Flick really just making sure nobody's in that lobby, and crucially killing zambz. Means there's not going to be a lot of pressure out of DM for at least the next 10, 12-ish seconds while they're waiting for him to respawn. So buys him a little bit of time, to get more set up on this defense. That sentry's still only level 2, so they really want to get as much time as they can.
They certainly do. I think that this is good for Minion for the simple reason that obviously going for that round reset, really good right now, especially that 4-minute timer. Do like that Bomo's over on the sniper. We said that there was a problem for Dirty Maggots, that they don't really want to go for all of these stacks. That's fine when you have Bomo sitting on sniper, being that pick class for you. And look, hasn't found anything yet this game, but we know what he's like. He's absolutely brilliant on the sniper. You've got to be scared of it, and I think the KMS certainly are.
Yeah, they're playing around it fairly well already. Got the sight lines, and now a Pyro just coming into lobby, just, peppering a little bit. But there's the cap time again. Jordy indeed is on that pain train once more. So that's a lot of cap time already rounded out, and that's going to decay very slowly. So it gives an opportunity for DM, even if they stack 2 players for it. That's a nice headshot as well, to just deny Sylves any sort of leverage. You're not going anywhere, buddy. You're staying on that last point. With Bloke down as well, spawning it around the same time. Mac really is going to have to be focused on that point now, and all it takes is just a singular lapse in his judgment. Perhaps a sticky's cleared a bit too much, scattered too much, and suddenly, or him dying, that would have been dangerous there as well. And then that point is going to be wide open for grabs. So far, so good. They're doing an okay job fighting off this Bomo sniper, but he's very consistent, he's very scary. And all it takes is one good angle, one medic that's slightly misplaced at the wrong time, or a bomb that maybe distracts, and suddenly you have an issue. There you go, 2 players underwater again. It's a lot of damage onto Bloke, who's going to have to opt out of there, and that's the stickies being cleared by half, slowly but surely. This might be dangerous. There you go, there's a bit of cap time again. That forces players into the point, which gives them a sightline onto the sniper. There you go, both soldiers taken care of, and that's another player falling with SNH. It's looking like this might just be a nice try-push they can do here on the side of DM if they really want to.
Yeah, hook, line, and sinker. Bomo was unfortunately the leverage behind that one. And, when you're scared, when you're terrified of that sniper to push that sight line, it gives more time, it gives more space to the scout to get that cap. And really nicely done by Dirty Maggots, understanding their outs.
Exactly, baiting into the sniper, playing around him superbly. And that equalizes it once more. 11 minutes left on the clock. If either team gets to 5 rounds before overtime hits, then they have it won already. Otherwise, in 11 minutes time, they're going to need to win one more. Just as a reminder, because we are in the playoffs, it is different from yesterday's group stage rule set. It is the progressive overtime. Just so you're aware what these teams are playing for. That said, for now, they're playing for this mid-fight. And so far, so good for the side of the minions. I mean, they do lose Sylves, but trademark for Jordy. zambz crucially going down as well means no damage projection here. And that's SNH and Bloke on the other side. So it's a bit of a back and forth here, but in terms of positioning, it's certainly favoring DM at this point. Even if they lose zambz quite early, they have the players in places where they need to be. And the minions can't really have any sort of leverage onto this point by now, so they're just going to have to sit on second, wait for their spawners, and maybe even anticipate a bit of aggression here out of DM, as they're very keen to just keep this rolling forward. Bomo's already in through big door, just kills Sylves. He's in behind now, just in lobby. They're just letting him walk away. I mean, sure, they've got Bloke on the chase, I suppose, but he's just on a journey. He's on a little bit of an odyssey.
Oh
all right, sure.
Look, man, he's an American, he's free as heck, and he just walks wherever he damn well pleases. Finally goes down to SNH there, but honestly, found a good couple of picks. Alas, DM could not get anything off the back of it.
Yeah, KN trying to go in as like a bit of a sack follow-up or whatever to, you know, maybe leverage the fact that people weren't looking, but can't find anything either. And it's just looking like a bit of a reset. Sills fighting the choke here with his soldier counterpart from the other side, but it's looking like it might just devolve into a slight second to mid stalemate on Gullywash here. The most common place for that to happen on this map, but I guess we'll see how DM try to approach this. They're in the driver's seat, they're trying to push in. Usually the team doing that is a little favored in these situations. They have a lot of options that they can try to bust through with those stickies. We know Mac is very, very patient with them, not popping them just yet, just leaving them there as like a little bit of a landmine, and not quite finding anything that time around. Juxta knowing he has to be patient himself. That's a lot of damage onto Mac actually. I just open up a little bit of pressure, but no, they can't get much. KN is the only thing that slips through, and he's already on being chased as well. They have a second scout backing him up as well though, and this is a bit of a scary situation for the side of the minions here. They are being pincered by a lot of players managing to slip through into this lobby area off the side of DM, and if this continues, they might just be in trouble. KN does get cleaned up, Bloke, nice little rocket there. Bit of damage out to Af as well, but he's still reigning free for now, and that's going to be a thorn in their side, very much so.
For a chance to get a little bit more control of that flank, watching so much damage there. Does get caught by Silver's, really nicely done. And that's a couple of players down right now with the respawns coming through. Pikmin Samurai, they do have an advantage. See if they can make anything out of this. Af gets caught as well, and now they're really starting to lack quite a lot with no scouts at all. This is a very hard position to defend.
Yeah, it opens things up very, very much so for these soldiers to try and maybe get something in as soon as they're walking through big door. A big bomb coming in. There you go! Just as I say it, Silv slips in, gets the drop onto Juxta. Follow up onto KN as well. They find Silv's cleanup eventually. Jordy getting in behind as well, but can't get the kill onto Flick, and this is a one midpoint. Very, very easy for the minions, and with that full Uber in tow as well. So long as they don't slip up, this could be a round on their hands, because DM are going to be scrambling for that last ult now.
Yeah, really nicely done. I mean, that's the thing, right, is you strike one place to find the kill in another. Really solid performance from Pikmin Samurai here as they're now looking towards this last. And as we said before, they've got a big Uber ad. There is the sniper from Bombo, so you've got to be a little bit diligent in making sure you don't get picked. But I think, you know, KMS are going to be able to do this.
Yeah, they have everything in the world to try and work with here. We'll have to see how they do it. The same Uber again through a Riverside. Players going under already. Sentry taken down almost immediately. Lots of pressure onto the point as well. So much cap type players having to jump down to block it, but that's 3 dead, 4 dead. Eon does die, but it doesn't matter because they just kill everybody else. And that's another round on the board for the minions. Up 3-2 now. 7 minutes left to play for. And well, a couple more rounds they could get in that time and just take it outright.
That's the thing, right, is I think Minion are just so aware of how DM play that last hold when they're on their side. They know, hey, they're going to put no one on point. They're going to try and play around this sentry. They're trying to hold on to space that obviously is important if they don't lose immediately. But when they do, when they have to put all those players onto the point like we saw, they just kind of fall apart. So maybe they need to reevaluate a little bit. A couple of changes on the fly. There's still a decent amount of time, and as he said, it is a progressive config. So they have so much to work with, but a good couple of kills coming through. And that's another mid that looks like it could be in hands of Pikmin Samurai. But with the med still alive for Juxta, this isn't so bad. Af gets their player out, knows there's a scout behind, knows some people are trying to ruin their day.
There's a lot of aggression coming here. Unfortunately, Mac just eating a bit too much in the scouter gun damage. But now Af finds himself in a situation. Flick was in a round ago, and Juxta just can't keep himself alive or his scout with 2 of them being chasing on the other side. Flick and SNH cleaning that up, salvaging what could have been a not so great mid into what is a beautiful situation. Eon has spawned. He's already going to have so much Uber ad. There's going to be a bit of counter aggression out of DM to try and maybe somehow find something, but they really just have to probably go back for this last again and just wait it out, see if they can find a response to this hold, see if they can finally adjust to it. They're pressuring second as best they can, but realistically, they just kind of have to give it up, especially with zambz just getting run down by SNH in lobby. Now they really have to try and hold this last.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem, right, is when you lose a little bit on Gullywash, it can feel oh so difficult, and especially when you use the demo here. I mean, I think we're going to see a rinse repeat of the previous run, especially looking at their sentry placement, their off classes. We see a soldier drop down. They don't want to lose in that same way, but I don't think they have the power to really stop them.
It's going to take a while. They just didn't have the Uber quite yet, so zambz will be up in time. He's not going to be out of this last push just yet, but there it is, the same Uber again as they go in Sentry a bit further forward. A few more players underwater as well, but KN already gets taken down. There goes zambz. The point is free for the picking. One more soldier to try and spam people off, but he's alone. Can't do anything against 3 people. And there you go. KMS go up to match point. And it is do or die time for DM to try and keep themselves in this map.
Well, the one thing I will say, it's do or die, yes. If we were on the normal config, I'd be like, wow, 2 rounds to get back in. Well, we'd have 5 extra minutes in 8 minutes. It's possible, but on Gullywash it can be very difficult. But don't forget, guys, this is progressive rule set, which does mean that even if DM don't find anything in the next 4 rounds, they can still win this. They still have a way back into this, but they do need to lock in. Otherwise, I think that Minion are really going to lock them out.
They can't lose a round. They have to go 3 rounds in a row. Not lost to the side of KMS, and so far they haven't been looking on top of that. Bloke does get traded out for Jordy as the start of this mid-fight, and in terms of positioning, it certainly could be anybody's game so far. KN does go down eventually as well. Health not looking all that good on this other side though, and Af is finding a couple of cleanup frags there onto the side of the Samurai. Eventually Mac is caught out as well, and will die, so it's looking like a 1 mid for DM. Crucially, Eon does escape. Let's get out with his scout buddy of Flick, so they're going to be alright to at least hold this a little bit. It's not disastrous just yet for the side of Minions, but then again, they only need 1 round. DM needs 3, so it's going to be on very much an uphill battle for DM. Maybe they come alive in these overtimes. Maybe they're just going to have Flick run down KN and now try and get something done with his soul medic here as they just solo chariot this into something. It's not really a very good one. It's very ambitious. Eventually, Juxa pops his own off to just see what they can do, but worst case, okay, they're getting 1 frag out of it. I mean, it's still a trait that probably ends up favoring Minions in some ways. Not in positioning necessarily, but it's not like the DM is getting much leverage either, so yeah, it's looking like a reset. They didn't even cap mid yet, actually. I just realized that.
Yeah, I know.
They're just getting it now.
It took them forever, but as we said before, it really doesn't matter that much. They will be perfectly fine in that. It's going to be interesting to see if Dirty Maggots can convert this from their position. KN jumps in, gets a lot of damage, but importantly doesn't take down the demo. Bloke is instead the one to fall, and they lose their own demo. DM just flubbing quite a lot here. Juxta is down as well, and this is a disaster for them.
Bomo's behind it. I don't think they're aware of him just yet. Okay, he's been spotted. Unfortunate for him. He's not going to get away with anything. Mac has been on one today. He's hitting every shot. He's doing a lot of work for his team. And now this is a beautiful, beautiful opportunity for Keck Minion Samurai to just win this map of Gullywash right away. Another last push on the cards. Big Uber as they take it in. Eon needs a lot of damage beforehand. They're playing a little bit differently this time around on their side, but look, so much cap time already. They found the frag onto Af with the heavy as well, so they don't have to worry about that. But they haven't really found much else. Jordy does go down. They're really playing this a little bit more slowly, trying to find some sort of leverage, and Juxta slowly but surely falling up on his own Uber. I don't think the fight's going to go on for that long. They're eventually just finding these frags one after another. zambz the only one left, and there you go. KMS take the first map. Neither of the analysts really thought this would necessarily happen, but I know Mac's feeling very happy about that one.
You know he's got to be. I mean, that was really nice from him, especially that last push. Play it slow, let the advantage grow. They got player after player after player, and then eventually it was just too much pressure for Dirty Maggots to really deal with. So really nicely done. And I think off the back of a lot of mid-wins and a lot of squandered last holds. Like, I felt like Dirty Maggots just didn't have it on lock, and, you know, I mean, that's how the cookie crumbles, really.
Yeah, I mean, we'll let the couch talk about that, but it was the same last hold every time, and I think they'll have choice words about it. Anyway, go ahead, smart guys.
I don't know about smart guys. I don't think I can find the help nowadays. What were you guys saying? A 2-0, a healthy 2-0 for...
I mean, I shouldn't call score. So far, I've been always wrong, but I did say that it was a good map for Mac, and I was surprised by it being a pick for Dirty Maggots.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, what about you, Wandon? What's your excuse, okay?
I thought that the DM would be awake this morning. I'm so surprised at how they were playing that game. It was so slow. They were taking these weird fights and just not hitting their shots. I was watching the push, or I guess the sack or whatever it was, that lost them that game, where KN is going in, and I guess he's probably screaming in the comms, Demo took 200, Demo took 200. Mac is fine. We lose zambz in the meantime. The whole team gets wiped on mid. That was, yeah, it feels like some very, like, I don't want to call it early morning because it is like midday, but that was not the best performance I've ever seen from the.
All right. Well, we've got some logs. Maybe we'll offer some more insight. But did you guys catch any of those last pushes from DM? They weren't good. I think shutter pushes look like they're losing a little stock to me. I much prefer Max pushes where he pushes from river. Also, it seems like zambz, poor kid, is getting bullied on last.
Yeah, I mean, Mac team had DM in check, and when I see those logs, oh my god, KN, alright, it's kind of a soldier map. It's a big soldier map, but I always saw KN struggle on this map, which is surprising. Not gonna lie,
Wow.
like it's a soldier map, and you struggle on a soldier map. I mean, whatever.
Well, I know it's a soldier map, but let's talk about these Deroman differences. Oh, look, it's the people's champion has walked down. The Flick just wants to come in and look at his logs the best way he can. On the big screen, he's feeling proud. he's not pleased with his performance. He's not pleased. He should be happy, though. He did all right. Okay, so, but yeah, look at the Deroman difference. Mac is towering up over against zambz. What's the difference maker? Is zambz being left in the cold, or is zambz like just kind of dropping the ball here?
I mean, it is surprising because I was behind Mac, and when you watch Mac, you're like, why is he struggling? Like, I was baffled by the way he talks. Like, he was holding big door, and he was screaming for help. Help me, I can't hold this. I'm like, you're the man. You can hold this.
Demo, man.
You
Stop
can hold
worrying
this.
about it.
Nah, like, it's so funny to watch Mac. But, Mac just diffed zambz.
I think that's a good point that you've laid on. A secret point was basically I felt like the teamwork on Keck Minoin Samurai was a lot more, connected, wasn't it, Wanda?
Yeah.
It felt like a lot of them were connecting their shots, and maybe it goes a little bit into that last push as well. All of them seem to be firing at the same target, bunching up, blobbing at all times.
Yeah, they were playing really nicely together. It looked super good, and the last pushes were kind of clinical. Like this is a Gully is a last push where you need to get it right immediately. Because if you make any kind of quick mistake, if you're a bit slow killing that gun, you give a heavy time to come out of spawn, it can get really hard to actually push out. But they were so fast, so clinical. Killing the demo, zambz was getting called out every single last push as well. One thing is getting the gun. The other thing is killing zambz, so there's no stickies on the point. They had 2 scouts on that cap before anyone on the other team could ever respond.
All right, well, that is just one map. I mean, it is the map pick of DM, so it's not a smooth start, or the morale might be a little low in the Maggots room, but they could turn this around in the process game, right, Wando?
I would think that this is a map that they should be a bit more comfortable on. I think it plays a bit more into the slow, kind of grindy style that they like to play. But this would be a horrible way to start off your tournament. If you're losing to the Samurai, this puts you into a long lower bracket slog that you really would prefer to avoid here.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they expect the Samurai to be a threat, but right now they are. And I don't think DM should be too worried about losing their own map pick. I don't think it's important to lose a map pick, to be honest. Like in my experience, I've lost plenty of map pick and won their map picks. Like TF2 is a game of TF2 is a weird game about it.
All right, fair enough. So obviously, process is going to be our next game. You touched upon a little bit, Wandam, that it's going to be a bit more like neater for DM going into this. Is there any sort of transferable things that you could see from Keck Minoin Samurai's performance on Gullywash that we might see on process?
I think for me, one thing is that their scout combo is looking really good and the soldier combo is really looking good. And I think for me, the big difference between these two teams is kind of, it sucks to say, but is that sort of the difference in the individual level. I would assume that you would agree to me as well. I would consider zambz a much better demo than Mac. But zambz really needs to wake up in this game if the Maggots want to win. I'm quite curious to see how this process game will turn out because bot mode loves himself a bit of sniper on this map. But SNH also really likes it on a map like process. But yeah, I think Maggots need to go outside, look at the sun. The sun's out. The weather's really nice outside. Go outside, take a look at the sun, take a breather, come back in, reset, go map 2, hit some heads, win the map.
Demol, you remind me of Twitch incarnate. You just say things how they are, and they need to be said in very tasteful emoji fashion. Can you tell me, like, who's dropping the ball here? Who's, like, needs to pick up the slack? Who's the blame?
I mean, when you watch the logs, you're like, Kane always had weird tournaments. Like, sometimes he plays well, but most of the time he doesn't. Kane needs to wake up, in my opinion. Like, he's supposed to be the best mechanical soldier in Europe, or at least in the world. Some people would say. But if you struggle against Sales and Block, what are you gonna do against Papi and Sale?
Yeah, touche. Do you think any of it's offset by the fact that Jordy is main calling for this DM lot? Is there such thing as like brain bandwidth in TF2 where you're thinking of all these strats, you're telling all your teammates what they need to do, need to make sure you shoot these stickies, make sure you're doing this. zambz, stop hiding in water, hiding, in sneaky instead. And does your aim drop a little bit when you're just too busy calling?
I think so, but I also think there are plenty of examples where that's not the case, right? Like, one of the reasons, like, I think we hail Thomas as potentially the best player in the world is that he does that while still being the best scout in the tournament. But it's obviously you're doing more. I think over time, like, Jordy's a player that's very used to doing this. I think likewise, Mac on the opposing team is also someone who has had this main calling role for an extremely long time. I think at this point, it's not like necessarily something that has changed specifically for this game. I think sure it might take a bit of a hit in your performance, but Jordy doesn't play that sort of super mechanical pocket style, right? He kind of is more of a sort of distraction for his team. He plays that very much it's like a living flashbang for his team. He'll go in first. He'll be the one to do a super high bomb to sort of make everyone on the other team look at him to allow the rest of his team to come forward, sort of generate that initial space. And for him to be the one calling and telling his team where to go and stuff, it kind of makes sense that he's then the one initiating those pushes.
Now, DM, obviously a kind of controversial team in the fact that that team spams baseless, baseless jumper, like it's no tomorrow. I want someone to love me as much as Jordy loves that item. Like, and we didn't really get to see it on Gullywash. Do you see it on Process? Is it not like a map like Granary where it has those big skyboxes?
I mean, yeah, Gully, you will never see it. If they do it, it's very weird. But it's kind of the same for Process. I think the last is too hard to bring that up. But I remember during the playoffs, Jordy was doing the base jumper onto the mid. It was dreadful. But
yes, it was. I remember that.
I think they won still.
Yeah, but I think Jordy was just spectating. He was like, "Good job, team."
He literally was. Nah, it's dreadful. He shouldn't put that up. And did we see them bringing the base jumper at all at LAN so far? I don't think we did.
There's been some games in there, but it's mainly they've been coasting most of their games. Like, I think they didn't really see it too much against like White Lotus. That was basically the main game. The rest of the games have been kind of coasting, easy peasy. We'll just tidy that up. But it's been more like I've seen a bit of Jordy shotgun. Like sometimes when they're holding forward on Process, that's been coming out. It doesn't look bad, right?
Nah, I don't believe in the Jordy shotgun at all. He shouldn't bring that up. I think if there's a guy that could bring that up, probably Kian. I know for a fact that, he's not playing in this game, but Ryan likes to bring the shotgun in water in Gully. I think it's good in this way. But other than that, shotgun is just you're throwing. All
right, looks like we've got a bit more time. Obviously, these are some nervous gamers. We probably have some people that are running out there and they're, having a quick cigarette, having a quick toilet break, and just maybe breaking down, every sort of little which way, or maybe you're Eon and you're too busy talking to Pappy and company. But no wonder they're doing better. It seems like if Witness are there behind them, coaching them, they seem to be doing much better against DM. Is this the equivalent of like gerrymandering or something like in TF2? I don't know. Or is it split party? But anyway, let's not get political. Anyway, so I've got you a bit more longer. I'm going to have to go into my treasure trove of topics as a host. And I want to talk about the fact that yesterday, there was a lot of crits happening on this Kek Minoin Samurai, and they were losing. I hate that unlock. I think it's like an absolute sort of fail button. And I want to know what your opinions of it is, because we didn't see any crits coming out of Eon today, and now they're winning. Conclusions?
Yeah, I mean, Mac is not known for having good crits. I think I saw one good crit from him, like the latest playoffs, and they lost. But it was a really good crit.
All right, okay. Production is worried about my treasure trove of topics, and they've told me that, yes, we actually are ready. So final words, final predictions before we go to our casters.
All right, I'm changing my side.
He's changing.
I'm for Mac. So Mac 5-0. Let's go 5-Mac.
I am learning to disagree with Demul, so I will say that the DM are going to come back in this game. I still think it will be a very slow one. I'm going to say 3-1.
You know,
Dirty
believe it or
Maggots.
not, I was always going to be a Mac believer, but it never made it down the line to me. So, yes, I'm going to go with a fancy Mac 2-0 shutout. I think this map, though, it's going to be like a 3-2 with the Banny config being enabled. But that's just my thoughts. Let's see what the casters think. We've taken away with Rook and Cerny.
Am I allowed to be biased? Should I be biased? I mean, look, the storyline here is that DM have to lock in. They have to lock the hell in. They have not been looking awake. They have been looking rather tired. Maybe went to bed a little bit too late yesterday, last night. Maybe stayed up partying, all that kind of stuff. I guess we'll have to see if they can actually find a response, find a way back into this match, especially considering Process wasn't one of their strongest maps lately, but maybe they've been doing their practice. Perhaps they're ready. We'll have to see as the first mid-fight unfolds before our eyes. Maybe they'll immediately come out swinging, and we'll see a completely transformed team, and Jordy scolded his boys fairly well. I suppose so far so good. Both teams taking it slow and steady. There's a bit of a high bomb here out of Jordy, but he doesn't find anything with it. It's taken out himself, and zambz dying to Mac means that he's getting diffed once more, making it very, very tough for them to continue in this mid-fight. Af goes down as well. They find Mac as a sole savior, maybe a consolation prize, but Sill's also so much damage with the bomb forward. And this is a lot of momentum for the minions already.
Man, oh man, you know, I was kind of rolling my eyes when I heard the desk say, yeah, I believe in Mac. I was like, he is not going #Mac mode. I do not believe in this. But starting off to an absolutely roaring performance in map 1, and now here in game 2, already getting that first, like, mid, it's looking a lot better for them. There is still Uber for Juxta, so it's not all, you know, doom and gloom for DM, but they're getting pushed already. They lost out on their mid. They might be getting caught up in some of their emotions. They need to lock in. This is a team they can beat in the kind of regular, standard situation. But I think they're struggling. Maybe a little bit with that, maybe a little bit with sleep, maybe a little bit with alcohol. But also in particular with this team right now. And if they keep getting zambz caught, it is going to continue to be a problem. They need to give him maybe a little bit of support, maybe play a little bit more passive in terms of positioning, because otherwise they're just going to fall apart again and again.
The one problem as well for the side of DM is that their holding style, where they just like to hold and last and all that stuff, like they're famous for on Metalworks, doesn't work that well on Process. It's unfortunately a map that's a lot harder to hold the last on. A lot more options for the attackers as opposed to some other ones. SNH, for instance, trying to sniper here. Unfortunately not working out that time. Jordy does have his number for that one, and that makes a little bit more breathing room available for the side of DM here, as they can maybe perhaps a little bit more forward, zambz putting stickies in rollout, you know, making sure that they got their bases covered a little bit better. So far, so good on this last hold, and if they can thug it out for a couple more minutes, perhaps they'll have another chance of just going straight back to a mid-fight and pretending that the first one never happened. But SNH, when he's hitting his shots, is a bit of a menace on that sniper sometimes, and even if you're up against bot mode, who's obviously one of the greatest on that class as well, so far, so good, right? We'll see if he can get the angles he needs to, the pressure he needs to, even just a shot onto something. We'll open things up for his soldier buddies, perhaps, to get something going. Do something. Oh, there you go. That's a nice little headshot there to open things a little bit, and maybe that's one of many to come.
Yeah, I'm really shocked to see Bomber actually still on this scout right now. Did swap off, did do some checking. Floke looks for a chance to get this one here. Does get the force. That's brutal to see. They're trying to catch a couple more players, but they only get 2, and I don't really think that's enough to kind of go out here. They might go for a sack, but again, Dirty Maggots are a very passive team. They don't want to put those soldiers forward.
Flick does get caught as well for being a little bit too eager, perhaps, trying to chase that damage onto Jordy, but it is what it is. There's still not much that they can push out of, and minions now have a nice Uber ad to try and get into this last whiff. It is a beautiful opportunity to convert a round. Juxta picking up the crit streak, very forward thinking, if they can make it work, especially with the heavy up on the brass beast up top as well. It's going to be a lot of damage potentially. But they also have to worry about that panic room. It's kind of cramped, it's kind of contained, and if people get in there, we'll have to see if this Uber makes it happen. The sentry does get taken down fairly quickly. Now it's just a matter of how they make this crits work. As the Ubers fade and the crits come out, that's a lot of damage straight onto SNH. Can he find any more? No, they actually killed Juxta. zambz just slips in, kills Juxta. Crits are out of question. Now it's just a matter of, can this war of attrition favor the minions either way? I mean, they're just out there. At this point, there's one more push in the cards, maybe, if they just want to make this a round. Otherwise, it's a round reset. So far, so good. DM have held onto this fairly well.
Yeah, nicely done. As we said, kind of those round resets are going to feel all the more common with this reduced round timer. So nicely done. It is going to be swapping AF over onto this heavy as Bomber goes onto the engineer. They are going to really lock in for this last hold. As we said, not a lot of time left on the clock. There is going to be an Uber not too far away for Aeon right now.
It is the one to make it count. 30 seconds on the clock for the round. You can try and convert it, otherwise you have to fight through mid once more. So one more attempt for the Samurai here as they try to make their way in once more. Sentry lives a little bit longer this time. The Stig's on the point to deal with it all. They haven't found any frags or much ground either. The Heavy's still in play, but so much cap time now suddenly being put down. Even if Eon and Flick go down, it is something to play off of perhaps, but they haven't found any frags whatsoever. No leverage for Kek Minion Samurai here on this last push. SNH, the sole survivor, can't even clean up a single scout frag, and it is going to... Actually, I was going to say this is going to be a round reset, but DM are actually pushing out?
They've got the Uberad, right? That's the key point. So they're looking at this and going, well, we can at least get the mid control here. This is certainly going to be ours. And that's going to be that, rather than having to actually go back in, win that mid, and something that Kek Minion Samurai have been very good at so far this series. So really good choice to come out from them. They're going to move forward. They're going to be looking at that second. They need to go quick, though. Otherwise, this Uberad is going to kind of even.
It's going to fizzle away fairly quickly. And, well, I guess the outcome is not that different. I guess they suppose... You could argue they won the mid fight now, right? That would have happened, and they'll make their way into second here as Eon is coming up slowly but surely in his Uber. Jordy just trying to waltz on forward, does die to a sticky trap, and makes room enough for his team to swarm the second point, like little mosquitoes flying around wherever they can. That's a lot of damage there onto Bloke as well, but he will live as the Ubers are exchanged around the point. Mac not caught in it, F gets launched directly into him, but can't get the one shot off, and it's looking like a much better Uber, at least for a while, for DM. Unfortunately, the positioning is so horrid afterwards that Juxta immediately dies. Mac just getting tanked up as well. Neither of the scouts can clean him up. It's zambz and Jordy left alive, and well, the latter just spawned. Well, the former's already on his way out. Can't really find anything with that bomb. And, well, the Minion's looking pretty good right now with that.
Yeah, I'm really shocked. I mean, I think Mac has looked in particular really good. Picks apart that Uber. Really nicely done. And Dirty Maggots again slipping up in ways that are a little uncharacteristic, struggling in basically every way. It is still even scorelines. No one's managed to find that round, but I think that's more because of the difficulty to push into last, and actually some pretty decent strategies this time. I think Dirty Maggots' last look a lot better than what we saw in Gullywash, which is, you know, a saving grace, frankly.
Yeah, I think that's what's keeping them in this, but they have to pull it off again, and this time around they don't have any crits to fall back on or an equal Uber situation. As the Uber comes in through one, they don't find much again on the side of the Minions. Their pushes haven't been looking all that solid, with zambz going down as well, making it a little bit harder. Bloke goes down, they find KN at the very least, but everybody else is kind of caught. Not in great position. Eon just about escaping as they clean up Jordy as well, so they don't have to worry too much about people chasing. Obviously, zambz trying to pepper a little bit here, and they know they have their own Uber ready to go, but with two players still down, especially your main caller missing, I don't think they're going to fancy themselves just yet with that little of a player advantage to push out a last. Very fair. Buy yourself some more time and give the Minions another chance here at really making this last push work. They haven't been on top of them just yet. They haven't quite found the answer, and DM have been switching it up on the ways they hold as well to keep them guessing and keep them working for it. So far so good. I suppose we'll have to see, because at the end of the day, Samurai have also gotten a lot more opportunities right now. They're just able to experiment. They have the freedom to keep trying because DM isn't really getting the chance to push out or anything either. So
yeah, I think it's, you know, akin to possession in like football or something. So they've definitely got control of the flow of the game right now, and Dirty Maggots are really responding. And it's been a real problem for them. Bloke is getting a lot of damage here, but doesn't do it at all too much. It's actually the follow-up damage. And they eventually take down zambz here. A couple of good frags coming through, and it's just Eon alone. This is exactly what Dirty Maggots needed.
All of a sudden, everybody just collapses onto the team. Eon has to pop to try and keep himself alive here. Will do some very nice serves, mind you, to get away from the enemy team. It is still a wasted Uber, effectively, and obviously Jux is going to have a full one to respond with, but at the very, very least, they keep that medic alive. They give him a chance to rebuild faster, so I don't think the Samurai are going to have to give up as much ground as they would have had Eon died there. They're going to be able to hold on to this much more easily. Maybe even on this mid, they're going to have to at least make DM work for it. And there you go, they Uber in early, try and really get these players out. And if they kite this well, they might not even lose a single soul, and they don't.
Yeah, really nicely done. I think the big difference between this game and the last one is literally that Dirty Maggots can actually hold last, whereas Gekimini and Samurai, they've kept up that pace, they've kept up that pressure, and they're sending players aplenty into the opposing side. Dirty Maggots right now are winning out in this fight. They've got control of the mid as well. They are hounding these players at every turn.
They are suddenly finding all the frags they need to, and they're just going to keep this rolling forward. Kane already deep onto Rella as well. Lots of damage here onto the combo, just to keep them on their toes, you know, keep them working. Just to make sure that they know what situation they're in, but they do have a full Uber ad on the side of the Samurai, so it's not that easiest thing, the freest thing for DM to get into. That being said, they already have a bit of position grab. Soldier gets around, gets onto Eon actually! What? Kans just slips in, gets that frag, gets that drop out of him. And just like that, what could have been a difficult uphill battle suddenly turns into what could be a free push.
Yeah, they're going to go straight through one here. You can already see the players moving around. They are not waiting for those spawners. They're not waiting for anything. Af is just going to move on, look for a chance, try and catch a demo, force them off. They get the rocket on a Mac, and I'm sorry, but that is likely going to be all she wrote. Good cap coming through. Dirty Maggots finally get that point on the board.
Finally, as a long first round, 10 minutes, they worked for it. They were sitting on their own last. They pull off the coast to coast after 2 attempts, mind you, at it. And there they go, up around. Plenty of time to play for, and the Samurai still looking fairly strong, making DM work for that, and one less misstep, and that could have been around for them. So we'll see how this continues. Perhaps they can clean up their last pushes and respond in kind right away. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, a big thing about this game is obviously the momentum and the control of the flow of the game, and Dirty Maggots have been trying so hard to pick that up. They finally get it, and let's see if they can retain it, if Kekmin and Samurai don't slap back and find their opportunity.
Early aggression here from Jordy once more as they try to find some sort of leverage here. Kane is going to be the first to fall, though. Flick gets that frag, obviously cloaking from behind. There's Sills with a nice, beautiful bomb once more. Gets that frag onto Juxta. Bomo taking out as well. Doesn't matter. zambz just waltzes on forward and pipes the combo down. And now it's Flick and Mac versus zambz and Af. A 2v2 in mirror matchup. Af is the first to fall, though. And it's only zambz trying to hold down the fort for his team here. But there's only so much you can do. He's trying his damnedest. But ultimately, it's a 1 mid for the Samurai. And crucially, with that late death of Eon, Juxta actually nets himself about a 20% advantage here, so it's not much, but it gives them a bit of leverage to try and hold again and make it really difficult for the Samurai to actually get much going.
Yeah, they are actually going to be able to hold second here, which I think is one of the first time that Dirty Maggots have actually been able to do this. It was a really nice mid, at least initially, from Dirty Maggots there. zambz, Jordy goes down immediately, man. That's brutal to see. Really nicely done. zambz actually got like a good couple of frags, but in the end, Mac still had his number. I mean, honestly, Mac on LAN seems to be a different beast, especially on day 2.
He's unlocked. He unlocked the real Musashi mode that he's been looking for all LAN. There you go. As they're already into last, they don't even have an Uber yet, and they know Juxta's going to have soon, probably, but they're just projecting so much presence here on last, trying to maybe get some sort of drop out of it, get the force out. There you go. They lost 2 players for it, but that's a beautiful force to get out of that defending side, and Silva's still behind as well. Gets the frag onto Af, actually. It's just being a very big nuisance for the side of DM right now. That's another beautiful rocket. Oh my god, so much damage just dealt onto those scouts. And it's a beautiful opportunity now for the minions to find themselves into this last push. Move 1 soldier down, it doesn't even matter. The Uber comes out straight away. Are they going to be able to catch him immediately onto Juxta? That is the medic out of the equation. The heal's working in their favor now. That is just a spawn lockdown as well, but they're not quite finding all the frags just yet. Slowly but surely getting there with bot mode the only one left. And there you go. They respond in kind much quicker than DM did. They finally unlocked that last push, and it is 1-0.
Yeah, no, really nicely done. They locked in, really solid performance, and again, just finding pick after pick after pick. And I'll say it, man, it might be that the answer to success on LAN is like Buddhist literature. Really trying to find their center with that Musashi mode. I'm not sure right now. Kekmin and Samurai just seem to have an answer for every single thing that Dirty Maggots throw at them, and these mids have just been so in their favor. And we saw the couch talk about, hey, Dirty Maggots are a team that really focus on these mids, really want to succeed on their mids, and when they don't, they feel kind of lost.
Yeah, and they've always, like, in the last few weeks, they've really struggled with process as well, so I respect them for practicing, and so far it's going alright actually on this one as they find Bloke early, get a lot of leverage here on the right side as well, rotating around, forcing the entire red team basically back through that choke, and off of 1 frag very, very early onto just 1 sole soldier. they are going to be able to get themselves that mid-win for once, but it is so not decisive because one frag is all you had. Now you got to make your way into the second, and there's equal Ubers. This flashbang bomb by Jordy is going to have to do something as KN follows up as well, and they're just getting denied a lot of ground. And they're being aggressive, but they really have to try and make something happen. Sylphs dying early might just be that opening, but really aren't finding all that much bit of damage here and there. Lots of ground given to them, mind you, but they're not leveraging it all that much. Jordy does eventually die. KN just narrowly escapes, and the Uber is actually forced out. Never mind. Okay, I did not notice that until now. They did get the Uber out. That is actually pretty good. Eventually. Took a while, but they got there.
Yeah, Bomber does go down kind of late, so Dirty Maggot's positioning doesn't feel great, so I really like the fact that Minion were willing to go for those sacks there, because if you catch Juxta with only one scalp, sometimes you could just make something happen. Would have been really nice for them to find, but they don't, and now Dirty Maggots have that Uber out, as we said, but it's not going to be for very long, so they've got to move quickly, and KN completely understands that.
Yeah, immediately taking the initiative, just making so much space here for the team, forcing these players back, knowing full well they can't really hold onto that second. They do have to hold this last eventually. And that Uber is going to be coming up soon, so they will probably have one to respond with as it comes through. For the side of DM, Sentry taking it out instantaneously. Sticky's being cleared off the point as well. They haven't even capped second yet, though, so they can't play the cap time just yet. And as the Uber comes out of the defending side, and Juxta just get caught eventually as well. This is looking like not just a bad push, maybe a disastrous one if this continues. zambz is hiding. Nobody's been finding him just yet, so he might just get away with a very sneaky play here onto the point, as nobody's really expecting a demo to be sitting there. Second is being capped. Nobody's on last. Nobody's there. He's just going to back cap as Demo Man.
Kidding me.
And they're not going to out cap him a second either. He gets it.
How does that happen, man? Like what? How does the demo do it?
Nobody checked the far side. Nobody checked the far side of last. He was just hiding, being sneaky. Off-classing to spy. Perhaps this is what the Yak spy was actually supposed to be.
Whoa.
You're not actually off-class. You just pretend to be a spy. And it calls in for a pause. Whether this is tactical or technical, I'm sure we'll know momentarily. Also, that's a beautiful loadout, by the way, on Mac. Look at those eyes.
It's kind of elite.
He's focused.
It goes hard. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. I love the fact that they've all got like these samurai outfits. I think it's kind of sick. I love it when teams have that theme, or like have all the same hats, and even if it's like different effects, but like all the same base hat. I think that's super cool.
It has been almost every single Mac team I've ever seen, by the way. I think he almost always does this for his.
That might be the secret to LAN success.
Maybe.
Wow.
It's almost every time I see a Mac team, they always have some sort of theme, and then everybody has the same cosmetics. I don't know if he's the one even providing those. Maybe he's being a really, courteous team leader and whatnot. It's an interesting concept, and you know what? If it helps the team cohesion, if it helps them perform like they're performing right now, sure, they're down around now, but they've still been looking strong so far on process, and if they keep this up, this might just be a 2-mapper. I mean, they still have plenty of time to round it out. We're not even into overtime yet. They don't have to worry about that much, and it is a DM pause, so perhaps it's technical. Because, why would you pause after winning a round, right? Like, come on.
Maybe they're like, yes. These are the things we need to focus on. We've figured out our strategy.
Let's review what we did and just do it again.
Yeah. Normally, I'm sat there. I didn't start my round. I'm like, yeah, that was good. Let's do it again, man. Like, I'm not thinking quite that hard. But these players, especially with the way they've been approaching a lot of these individual situations, using their soldiers, I think, a little bit more aggressively than we saw before, which is what I'm happy to see. I think that DM were kind of not resting on their laurels, but being a little bit too passive for what they need to be doing. I think especially kind of as a LAN goes on, the LAN sees its own form of meta, especially with Americans in the mix, it's going to get a lot faster. So it's really great to see. It's going to be tactical. Okay, so that is a DM tactical. So
interesting.
I think, yes, it's like, let's do that again. But actually, Dirty Maggots have been iterating through a lot of different options. They are mixing it up a lot, especially on those last holds. We saw different sentry angles, different ways they were approaching things with crits, playing in heaven, all sorts of different bits and pieces. We haven't seen a lot of mids, so I can't comment on that just yet, but I think that's probably likely. And I think them going, okay, well, what of those things we tried actually worked? Can we repeat them? They can go through a whole laundry list of things to really discuss about. I mean, TF2 is a complicated game. Who knew? There's lots of things to kind of focus on. And I think especially when you win a round, and you're like, oh, let's just do that again. This is not a replicable round, right? zambz getting a last cap is not something you can do
Really?
again.
You think so?
I think so. Maybe zambz is going to prove me wrong, in which case he could go ahead and do that, but to me that's not a replicable round, right? You can't have that happen again. So they're going, okay, well, how did we fail that push last time? I mean, you can kind of evaluate that pickup, try and figure out what it is. I don't think there's a lot to work with. I think they kind of pushed into an Uber with an Uber, and it was a trade that was like okay, I guess. But I don't know. There's a lot. We are unpausing now. We'll see what they're going to bring to the table, but I'm not sure. You know, they could be talking about any number of things. But I think it's going to be these mids because they've got to make them work.
They've been struggling with those. They've been struggling with control afterwards as well. And winning a round on a fluke back cap, if that's going to be the only thing that gets them here, I don't think they're going to be too happy about it. So yeah, as you say, they need to switch up the strategies, find a response to the minions who are a formidable foe for the time being as well. As the mid unfolds before our eyes, Jordy again prefers to go very low, but not to fall this time around, as both teams actually keep all their players alive for much longer, much more carefully. A double bomb now out of the Samurai. They do get onto the combo. Kane is going to be the first to fall, though, as SNH gets cleaned up as well, but eventually they find that damage onto Juxta, and zambz the only survivor here, really, for the combo. They got both scouts, though, as well. They do have Af and Bomo being probably a bit of a nuisance here, especially if one of them slips behind, like Bot Mode already has, so they're going to have to worry about that. They're probably aware that they haven't seen everybody yet. Flick is just kind of aware that, okay, there's one. Where's the other guy? Where'd he go? What happened here? Where's this sneaky little American hiding? Is he just gonna try to spawn camp us? He's gonna fight SNH on spawn. I mean, ambitious, but against 3 players, probably a bit of a sunk cost fallacy at that point.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, man. Like maybe
Jordy
some
sniper?
sort of
Wait,
American
sorry,
strategy. I'm
cut you
too
off.
European.
Jordy
to
sniper.
understand. Huh?
What? Let him cook.
Dude,
what is bro cooking? Hold on. Okay. Nice
This is
little
what
body
the
shot
pause
onto
was
Bloke.
for, man.
Ooh, almost gets the angle onto Ion as well. That's dangerous, actually. That could have worked. Very forward thinking. Didn't work out that time, though.
Yeah, maybe
Anyway,
we're not ready for that one yet. We'll have to come back to that in a couple of years. It's going to be them pushing into last now. Minion Samurai already take down the Sentry as well. It's going to be a bomb at a point to try and deny. As Uber has come on out, and they are leveraging that to great effect, pushing players back. But they did not get any kills. Now it's going to be the counter Uber.
Has a lot of space and a lot of cap time straight away, but they're not finding anything off the back of it. Flick is going to be the only one to really die. But Sylvs has once more slipped into the panic room behind, and this is an opportunity. This is some potential, and nobody's aware of him there whatsoever either. Nobody's even checking. They're maybe going to have somebody walk up here eventually, but as soon as somebody pressures in from the Samurai, this is going to be a very dangerous situation, especially with people not necessarily covering the point as much. Sure, there's a level 1 Sentry, even just getting onto Juxta or something. There's so many possibilities for this working. The Sentry's down. Sylvs is just going to try to jump around, gets onto the point. Unfortunately, spot out immediately. Not quite the perfect landing he wanted. Nice little pipe there by zambz onto Bloke as well. And it's looking like this might just be an opportunity for DM to push out of. I mean, Mac, not very healthy looking, and does get cleaned up. SNH, the only one to remain, and he's going to have to run away.
Yeah, I liked that from Sylvs. I thought it could have amounted to something, but kind of came in at the dying end of their team's pressure when people were just kind of like, well, let's just keep an eye out for bombers. Maybe someone got through. I don't know if they even thought he was there. They might have thought, oh, somehow he jumped through before, but instead, it's going to go down. It's going to be that push into mid here for DM right now. They haven't lost any players just yet, as they're going to get some extras to roll on out.
And they're going to try to keep this momentum rolling forward. That big Uber ad really worked in favor of DM, just allowing them to get so much for free here, pressure out these KMS players, and really make them have to respect that pressure that is going to be coming their way. And at this point, it's still 40% up. It's dwindling slowly, but they might just be able to get away with even more, depending on how Samurai try to play this one. But they respect it. They are passive. They understand their situation. They're going to try to hold last instead. And what could have almost been another round loss for DM might just turn into another coast-to-coast as they're knocking on Last's door. Now this time around they do have to deal with equal Ubers, and they do have to deal with a Jordy just sending himself in deep and dying, but we'll see. Last time they just about managed to get the round because of zambz forward thinking and being invisible apparently, but well, I don't know if they can pull that off again.
Well, I think that's the thing for me. And I think actually, despite the fact that I am a negative Nancy when it comes to progressive config, is one of the benefits of progressive config. For the simple reason that you can get that fluke round, but it doesn't necessarily win you the game most of the time. Like you know, if we went out of time in 5 minutes, for example, on non-progressive config, we'd kind of be chill, and that's Dirty Maggots winning. And it would be off the back of zambz finding that player. It's a small but important point for Kikmini Samurai. But even if this goes to time, Dirty Maggots have still got to find another round. Still got to find something here. And I'd certainly say that Bomo is on the sniper, certainly could be there, but they've got to make it happen.
Yeah, does get the nice little shot there onto Flick, and it's going to eventually lead to him getting cleaned up, so he wins the sniper v sniper in a way, but he's going to have to do a little bit more as well, because just taking care of that sniper is not going to do that much for you on last. Opens up some sight lines as Mac is trying to fight him, and just walking in this sight line. Jordy and KN both send themselves in, and nice counter bomb there by Bloke onto Juxta, but doesn't find the damage that he needs to. And Bomo now gets a bit of a room, perhaps, to work with. He's going to have to worry about perhaps some hitting him. He's really trying to find that angle, and Eon knows full and well what is going to be coming his way and is being passive enough about it. So they're going to have to try and make bot mode really work for these peaks, and that means that they're going to have to commit quite a bit. Send some soldiers with him, make some space, make some room. He's going to try to peek this wall out once more, and Mac just has it on lockdown. Nobody's getting through there for free.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad to see. Bomo has been struggling, actually, finding these snipes here on process. Not something I thought I would normally say, right? This guy is crazy good on the sniper, but I actually think has found maybe 2 headshots, but like neither of them have been a kill. Seeing a lot of damage here. Won't go down just yet, but him finding this pick is kind of crucial. I don't think it's the end of the world for Dirty Maggots if they don't, because if this, round resets, that's perfectly fine for them. They can settle back into this, and they do still have that round advantage. Ooh. But with Jordy going down, lacking players yet again.
Yeah, Flick finding a response snipe here, now opening his angles up a little bit as Bomo tries to go through the shutter perhaps, but that's a deep peek for Flick, and that's a nice body shot onto zambz. Unfortunately though, zambz was watching a sticky trap that Flick was just standing directly on top of, and Bomo just did the exact same thing. The exact same thing just happened to both snipers, which is kind of funny actually.
I thought Sniper was going to be goated on LAN, but it seems like it's just struggling so darn hard. I mean, these projectile classes feeling very, very comfortable here. KN unfortunately gets skybox. Jordy makes it pretty high as well, but doesn't go down. Doesn't get anywhere near as high, importantly. Dirty Maggot's going to kind of settle on into this. They've got a decent amount of time to work with. Round reset, I think, in a minute.
Yes.
Coming through here? Yes. Sometimes I read the clock and I'm not sure, man. But a minute on the clock, and Dirty Maggots are... They're in control, obviously. They're pushing from second into last. They round up, but they kind of want to find this win, and they just keep losing players. It feels like SNH's, not SNH's time, it's Flick, has been way more successful on the sniper than we've seen from Bomo.
Yeah, he's been finding the shots better than anybody else so far, and I mean, even just getting those frags, delaying this DM push that could be coming in is going to make things a bit harder for them. At this point, they might as well kind of send it 30 seconds as long as it's not a complete disaster. They might as well. And finally, Bomo finds an opening frag there as the Ubers come in. Silvs gets caught by the sniper. zambz finds the sentry as well, but that's all she wrote for now as the counter Uber comes out of the side of the Samurai. They find Jordy with it, and I mean, it's good enough to hold with. It's going to be probably some follow-up, perhaps out of DM as they just try to get something. KN bombed into a level 1 sentry. Bomo taken down by the crits out of SNH as well, and it's looking like it is just going to be a round reset, which, well, DM are up around, so the buffer is still going to work for them here as they probably head into overtime at this rate. But it's only a 1-round buffer. It's not just a win just yet. They still have to win one more, ideally after the next minute 40 is over, because otherwise they have to win another one after that. And at this point, you probably want to play for that overtime.
Yeah, you're probably, even if you get a roll right to last, you're probably going to try and be like, guys, hold it for 10 more seconds. Yeah. We need this. We want to win here. Actually just locking it out rather than anything else would be very, very nice. Dirty Maggots right now need to focus on winning this mid. It's been their route to success, and Kikmini Samurai seem to have had their number at quite a few of these turns, so you need to make sure you don't go off track right now.
Yeah, I haven't seen KMS lose a mid just outright horridly so far on Process, so they'll have to keep this up and make things tough for the side of DM as the mid unfolds once more, players going everywhere. Finally, a bit of a bomb across there onto the side of KMS, but still no frags being fallen just yet. Just a bit of pressure back and forth. Silvs and Jordy eventually trade out for each other, but it is still just a soldier frag either side, and lots of aggression finally coming across here. But crucially, Eon walks into one of zambz's pipes, and that means no heals for the side of KMS. That makes it a lot more of a scramble here to try and get onto Juxta, but they're finding the frags anyway, with only AF and KN left, a bit of spawning coming in. Juxta does live, but it got a bit dicey there, and crucially, KMS win the mid anyway, so that's going to make it even harder for DM to keep going forward. Now, they do have a full Uber ad, but they have to be careful, because Max already got stickies and choke, he's already watching, he's already probably got a couple other players hiding somewhere as well, really trying to pressure this and make sure that DM aren't getting anything for free at this point.
Yeah, you've got to be careful about that patient samurai over on the demo. Going to be Dirty Maggots again, kind of going, well, okay, now we have a ton of time to work with. We've got that we've got that round timer as kind of our gate rather than anything else. zambz is going to pop that immediately. They're going to jump right on in, try to catch something here, and don't even get the soldier. This is a real disaster. Dirty Maggots find nothing off the back of their Uber advantage, and they've really just been struggling to make a lot out of this, and I think Kekminion Samurai were aware this is exactly what's going to happen. Pushing through that choke isn't easy. The Uber's going to be up in just a second for Eon as well. They are holding. Strong Flick does go down, so it is a player advantage, but they're going to lose a soldier most likely in the sky here, but so much damage follow-up does mean they're lacking a lot right now. Very, very ill-defended medic. Even though they have Uber, this is not a great situation to be in.
Yeah, it turns out that you don't need to kill the medic if you can just kill everybody else who's a little bit overextended, and Eon just can't quite commit into choke too much because he would be dying himself. Can't keep all of his players alive, and it's enough for DM to muscle their way into the second and potentially into last as well. At this time, Juxta's almost got again. He's already up to 80% almost. Mac can't quite get his jump through one either, and this is looking like a wasted Uber for the side of KMS. It's the exact same thing that just happened, but flip-sided, and now DM have a beautiful opportunity to get into the second choke up split. zambz unfortunately gets denied by all the spam, and will only maybe have to settle for a single scout frag. Never mind, okay, he goes kind of big. That's a lot of damage. Never mind, they find a couple. It's looking okay for this last push, but now that the Uber's equal, and a lot of, you know, guerrilla tactics here employed out of the Samurai. It could be dangerous, but it's looking like DM might just have this one in the bag at this point. Eon, the only one left alive. Mac really trying to move mountains. The only thing keeping them in is the fact that they just now cap second. They don't have much last projection just yet, but Flick is the only one to try and defend the point, and there you go. DM eventually find it. It is a 3-1 victory for them. They take the second map, take it to our third map, and they're to keep themselves in this. They finally woke up a little bit, perhaps.
Yeah, didn't have the players, didn't have the time for Kekminion Samurai in those last rounds, and as you say, Dirty Maggots starting to get into that comfort, starting to feel like they're getting back into the swing of things, and yeah, I'm excited to see it.
I'm very, very interested in seeing where the third map is going to go. I'm sure our couch is as well, as they are primed and ready to give us their thoughts on what we just witnessed.
Well, well, well. It turns out we've still got a game, gentlemen. We're actually playing the third game of our best of three. Who would have guessed it, Wandem?
Who would have guessed it? Yeah. That tack pause came in and did wonders for DM there towards the end. I think they really needed it because, to be honest, the momentum kind of looked out of their favor. I'm still not entirely convinced by this DM team. Like they won process in the end, but like for me at least, not the most convincing victory I've ever seen.
Yeah, not at all. I feel like the Mac team made some big mistakes, individual mistakes. I was behind Eon. I saw Eon. There was pipes raining onto him. He did not care, and he died from it, like at mid. So yeah, not convincing for me from the DM side. But I wanna go off topic a bit, and I was watching a bit the Americans against Yak. It's 4-3 right now.
Yes. It's all very exciting on the fireside right now. But as tempting as it will be to talk about that game, we need to focus in on the main lane. If you want to catch any of that, we have got the B stream kindly provided by Fireside. So, you know, if you want to tune into the Americans versus Joey Guns, that is where the place is to be. But meanwhile, DM versus Kekminion Samurai. We're going to be going to Sunshine next, but before we talk about that, is there anything on process that you spotted, anything you may want to point the finger at, or maybe even shower some praise with, Wandem?
I feel so extraordinarily neutral about this process game. I feel like it went... Did I not literally say 3-1? Was I right? With Dirty Maggots?
We'll get the experts to look back on that.
Cerny's giving me the thumbs up. That
Cerny's
means that
expert.
I'm the
Cerny's not an
smart
expert.
analyst. Prem player, Turbo Taps, Wandem. You know who to listen
This
to.
man gets one prediction right in his life, and now
How
he's,
many predictions does...
That is a good point. He is stronger than you, Demo, right now. Maybe you can redeem yourself in the next Sunshine game. But is there anything you want to touch upon process before we start talking about Sunshine?
Not really.
All right, fair enough. So we're going to our third map here. Obviously, both teams have taken each of the map's pick. This is the one that's left over from all the kit and caboodle. Is it a particular reason why Sunshine isn't hated amongst any of these teams? Is it just such a neutral map, or is it a good map, I guess, that nobody's really offended by Sunshine?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I feel like it's a pretty neutral map. I like this map. I used to dislike this map back then, but yeah, I got fond of it. I think it's a good map. The mid is interesting. The second point is rough to push, to pressure, and the last. Wait, do I like this map actually? I don't know actually, but I don't know. The overall vibe of this map, I like it, but some areas are rough. But I feel like it's the same for every map anyway.
Random, we've had international presence here, and with international presence means international takes on how to even play maps. Me and you were discussing this morning that America play their last holes a bit differently on Sunshine.
Much worse.
Much worse in your objective opinion. So is this last hold kind of still a difficult nut to crack? I know Witness had a very infamous last hold on this where it felt practically unbreakable. Like, is it still like this for the average EU team?
Yeah, I mean, the typical last hold is you put a gun up on top left. You have a pyro stand in front of it, reflecting everything. So as you're taking the Uber forwards, what you want to do is you want to set stickies up and send a demo man in. The pyro right in his face, reflecting him. He can't go forwards. You need to spend so much ammo killing the gun. By the time the gun is dead, your NG's sitting in spawn, swaps over to heavy at the end of the push. After the pyro and the heavy and the sentry do the heavy lifting of defending, heavy can come out 450 HP. You have no bullets left to shoot him with, and that's sort of the theory of how you hold that against the push. That's something that the Americans just don't do. They don't believe in that. We have 2 European teams here though, so I do believe that would be exactly what we probably are going to see. Unless bot mode is changing some things up. What do you think?
Yeah, bot mode is usually the engineer in this team, and he likes to switch things up a lot. He likes to put the sentry on the side of the point. I don't think it's that good either, but the Americans are fond of it, and they think the sentry on the top right is not good either. So I think it's a contrast between the two regions. Yeah.
Okay, so obviously Sunshine is our third map, and one of these two teams are going to be winning. How important is this win? Is it really that important to be in the upper bracket? Do you actually get perks here at all, Wandom, by staying in the upper bracket at all?
I think like officially in terms of tournament, not really, but you have the perk of not being in the lower bracket, of having that extra safety net, of knowing that if you lose a match, it's not the end of the world. You have the possibility to come back. Once you go into the lower bracket, there's no coming back, right? You have to just keep winning and winning and winning. Some teams, they thrive in that, but seeing that is super, super rare. To have that mentality, to be able to stay focused like that, it's very difficult. I think both of these teams would just prefer to be in the upper bracket. And also, if you make the run through the upper bracket, you're just playing much less TF2. There's way less of a gauntlet running through. If you have a peek a little bit over to our schedule tomorrow, it will be almost entirely lower bracket games. Whereas if you just go in, win the upper bracket finals, you're in the finals tomorrow, and you don't have to think about maybe potentially even being here quite early. Playing 2 best-of-3s before then playing a best-of-5 on Sunday, that's what you're trying to avoid.
There's 2 sides to every coin, though. D-Mall, I'm very interested to see the players' point of view about this. Is one side, you get a lovely little break, you get time to eat food, you can watch some games, kind of chill a little bit. The other version is you get to play more TF2, you get to practice, you get to try out and learn from your mistakes and ideas that you've been playing throughout the tournament from that low bracket, because you get to play more TF2. In a way, you can look at it as like soft scrimming. Where are you standing on this? Do you prefer to play more TF2, or do you like the breaks?
Depends how much TF2, but I do think people underrate that fact that you are practicing a lot, and it is a really good practice to play in this environment as well. So I'm more on this side. It depends on the player. Some players don't like to play that much. Yeah, it depends on the player, mostly. But the main thing is that if DM are getting into the lower bracket, I think it's fine. But the fashion being put down into the lower bracket by Mac, that is different. That is really different.
Is it something these players are easily shaking off here, Wandom? Can they like shake off a loss from Wandom? Does it happen in the game of TF2, or do you think that this sort of thing can be lorded over them? Are people going to talk about this for not just the rest of the LAN, but maybe even like the rest of the year?
I think just on a personal level, because these two teams are so close together, if they lose this, they will not hear the end of it from Mac. Mac won one map against Witness last year, and he's still talking about it. He will take any chance to bring it up. We still have to talk about it, right? Like it's one of those where because they are such good friends and they talk together all the time, they lose this map, they go down to the lower bracket by Mac, a team that they themselves, we asked bot mode in Essential Intelligence before we started this tournament, what do you think the win rate is on CP nondescript versus Mac? The clear answer was we would win 90 out of 100 games. If this is one of those 10, it feels very bad.
Or it feels very special, I guess, how you look at it. Demo, obviously we've got a bit of downtime right now between this. Oh, are we going? Oh, final thoughts, I'm told, actually. So, yeah, I guess as final thoughts go, give us a prediction of Sunshine, Wandom.
Ooh, this is going to be another quite slow game. Sunshine, notorious for being a last hold map. I think we're looking, to be honest, it's another 3-1 for the Maggots here, the final scoreline.
Demo, quickly.
I'm for Mac, so I'm just going to throw a random score. 3-0 for Mac.
I'm going to go the filthiest 0-0 for the longest time, and it's going to be one-round victory because these two teams want it so bad. And I think I'm going to go Jordy on this. I'm going to go DM. But what do our casters think? Our continuing cast with Cerny and Rook.
Well, what do we think, Rook? Do we think that this is something that will finally give Mac that upset he wants against his friends so he can haunt them with it forever? Or is this going to be the thing that probably everybody would have expected, and that is DM continuing their upper bracket journey to take on, I don't actually know who. I think it's going to be the winner of whatever Mandem is fighting right now. So like Mandem probably?
Probably Mandem, yeah. No. I mean, okay. I think the couch kind of covered it when they started talking about the fact that this is going to be a slow map, right? And I think we discussed this, is that when things slow down, I think it's DM who are going to succeed, right? Because they are that little bit more experienced, that little bit more skilled in general. And as Bomo said, it's like a 90-10 win ratio for them, right? They win a lot versus this other team. And I do think that if somehow KMS force it to go fast, they can find a win. It is possible, especially with the mental damage they've already dealt. But it's going to be slow. It's Sunshine, man. It's going to come to a screeching halt. And that's where Dirty Maggots are really just going to reign supreme. Yeah, they love their last holds. They love just waiting it out forever. And once they do that, that might just be what favors them in the end. Although, yeah, I mean, we've seen KMS do it a couple times now. They do just sometimes come out swinging with a round very quickly. And they could just stay up on that round for a while as well. And then suddenly we find ourselves in the overtime, and then they get another one by some sort of weird dark
magic voodoo stuff. And then, suddenly it's looking like a completely different story. I still think that either team is in this, even though I would also agree that realistically DM should finally be taking this, as they are waking up, finally locked in, found their strategies, and maybe have started to figure out just what it is that was giving them so much trouble on our first map. As they're, understanding how these samurai play and what sort of Bushido code they follow to really mess with them. I guess we'll have to see, right? I feel like a lot of it is going to boil down to this first mid fight. Notoriously, DM have been struggling with those from time to time, but if they can lock this first mid fight down and don't even have to worry about maybe some sort of last push they have to do, some last hold they have to bust, they can just win outright on that. That's kind of like the Sunshine strat, right? If you can win on second, you win last immediately. It's a lot of teams do, and as the gamers go away and move their asses to that first mid fight, let's see who will be the one to take it.
Yeah, it's going to be similar timings for the demos to approach. We already see Matt kind of spreading out towards the right, where we do see a little bit more focus around that valley right now for zambz, as the bombs start to come in pretty quick here.
Yeah, right away, straight across, but they're not really finding all that much. Sure, they got Eon, which is what they were looking for probably, and they get a little flick as a picker as well, but they lose 3 for it, which means that even though they get that crucial frag onto the mid, they can't quite win the mid just yet. They have to actually work to make their way back into it as they get everybody healed up, get Juxta ready for his Uber, and I mean, ideally they don't even want to use it, but they might just have to depending on how the Samurai play this hold, and they have somebody just bombing at the right time, that could immediately have that Uber out of the equation. So they gotta still be a bit careful. It's not the easiest thing in the world just yet, as they make their way through choke, trying to get into this mid fight, or this mid point. It's not much of a fight, probably, as the Samurai are going to give up. And yeah, there you go. There's that bomb I spoke of right away. That Uber out of the equation. And now it is evens Stevens once more. Well, actually, Eon's going to have like about a 50% ad, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, Kekminian Samurai, unfortunately, not following that Bushido code, just running away from the problem, right? They get that bomb in, they get that force, making really good decisions here. They knew that DM were going to push through like that. It is one of the few things you can do, right? So, good call from them. They're now going to have the advantage. It's going to get Cap right on back, but we likely could see something very similar if they are not careful. Mac already preparing a chance for their team to strike through.
Yeah, he's going to go up toward a cafe while the rest of the team kind of fan out and see what they can do. KN being a bit ambitious, but will just get cut off. Eon eats a little bit of damage, but no other pressure comes their way whatsoever. DM not playing this the same way whatsoever, taking it much more carefully and opting for, well, it's probably going to end up being an equal situation, but if they are continuing to be this careful, they are going to not have any position on the second either to really defend with. Another bomb comes through onto Eon, but they don't find any damage onto the medic specifically, and nobody dies either, as Jordy is just going to be the one to fall, and now DM are going to have to hold this last, and well, they are going to have to scramble to set something up. They're not even going to have time to build a sentry, as Bomo is just going to whip out the heavy instead. We're going to have to see how the Samurai try to approach this one. No sentry means they don't have to focus on that. They can focus on this heavy, and they can already do a lot of damage to him as well, as they're just peppering him from across. Matter of fact, Silv's is just kind of waddling in on the far side. That's a beautiful little rocket there onto Av completely just by random chance. So that's Mac taken down as well, which means this push is stunted for now, but DM aren't pushing out on it either. They're just going to get some time to set up now.
Well, this is what we said, right? We are expecting Sunshine to be a relatively slower map. I'm not shocked to see that one at all. They're going to lock in, they're going to get the dispenser up and everything. Dirty Maggots know what they want. Now, you know who else knows what they want? It's almost immediately going to be that sniper from SNH here, looking to use that to break up this hold right now. Sentry goes down with a little bit more time. Bomber's going to better get it back up. With the sniper, it likely seems that way. But this could go directly onto the medic. You've got to be very careful here. A good shot coming through. A second follow-up takes Jordy off the map. Can they use this space, though?
Disgusting little flick there onto Jordy. Opens up this far side a little bit. Now, they got to be really careful about the sniper. Juxta knows he has to hide behind that fence forever, but that makes things a little bit more interesting for Bloke. And they're just going to pop this, trying to catch somebody out in lobby, but you don't really find anything. Lots of damage onto the soldier there, but crucially, not a frag. Silva's going to stay alive, and with KMS now having baited that Uber out and Bloke spawning up once more, it's starting to look like perhaps a nice opportunity to get into this last. Now it is Sunshine. SNH even taking the initiative to switch back to Scout. They're going to have a bit of time here to set up for the defenses again. But no Uber means that the KMS have a prime opportunity to really make this push stick. Unless Af can have a word with it and find an early snipe here to deny any grounds, which he can't. Sentry gets done immediately as they take this right side. A little bit of cap time being put down as well, but the spawners come out of spawn now, the hiders. Heavy is out in play, does a lot of damage, well, takes a lot as well, soaks up a lot of aggression. They're not really finding any frags onto the side of DM whatsoever. They kill Jordy, who was basically just bombing into the combo, as 3 players die on the side of KMS, and DM might just push out off of this.
Again, this is what I want to highlight, right? You've got to have that checklist as you push into large. You need to deal with the sentry and likely the heavy, right? Because if this heavy lives, especially as the fight goes on, he's going to put out a bunch of basically undodgeable damage consistently down on your team. I feel like even more important a lot of the time than the demo in a lot of cases. So you've got to be oh so careful about it. Great bomb coming through there from Bloke, though, and that might set things up very nicely for Kekminian Samurai. Zambz jumps forward. He's like, I've got to make something happen here. But it's just no dice.
They find SNH, I suppose. KN going forward with that, but Jordy trying the same in Cafe just gets cleaned up. And now there's an Uber in response out of KMS. They're immediately in through Cafe. Eon eats quite a bit of damage. Will eventually have to pop off as well. So it is a force out of the side of KMS, and they're not really finding anything with it except a KN cleanup frag. And I guess Silv's slipping in to kill Bomo. So far so good. DM staying in there. Not turning this into a pure disaster just yet. They're going to have about 40% add to work with, so it's nothing too disastrous just yet, but they also don't have that much positioning on the second. With those players missing, they can't project as much presence here. They will have to just give up the second point, and back to last they go. Back to another last hold. Seeing how this one's going to evolve for the side of KMS, as they kind of have to wait a while, because they don't have Uber yet. This is just going to be a lot of time ticking away, which allows them to build that sentry once more, get themselves established on this last hold, and make it oh so much more difficult to get in there.
I think that overall, giving this time over to Dirty Maggots is really not what Kekminian Samurai want to do. They want to play this faster paced game, but on a map like Sunshine, it's oh so difficult. Yeah, they get the Sentry. Yeah, they get it again, but can they actually leverage the space that they would get from this to great effect? Bombo's already over on the Heavy, and killing him doesn't seem like it's going to be very easy. Flick is already off the board. Okay. Some nice shots do mean they managed to trade a couple back, but it's just not enough, right? There's so much damage and great focus fire as well coming out from Dirty Maggots.
Yep, they find the targets they need to. They just completely deny that right side, sorry, that left side, without much happening at all for KMS, not getting any leverage. And zambz putting a cheeky little sticky trap into the map props there. Admin, somebody check that one. Is that legal? Can we do that? I guess we can. Nobody's really flagged it for 15 years, so I think we're good on that one. Anyway, I wonder if that one's going to come into play. I wonder if they're aware that that's just going to be something that's going to be exactly there, or if Mac's going to walk into that. No, he's aware. He knows. Obviously, he's a smart guy. He's played this game for Eons as well. Not with Eon, but you know, that's fine. They've been doing good together so far, and that's going to be an opportunity for the Samurai to find their way in here. Again, they don't have to really worry about the Sentry as much yet. It's level 2, but zambz gets his angle to try and pop it off immediately. Again, there you go. It works well once more, so the Sentry's out of the equation, and maybe opens up things a little bit for perhaps some soldier aggression, perhaps something to follow up this sniper play out of SNH as well. It did give them a leverage last time around to try and get into last, and maybe it will do it again, but Jordy's there on the chase and does get that sniper out of the equation immediately. Flick dies as well on the other side, and suddenly DM are looking much more nimble. Look at that, zambz goes down. They're going to push out a second here.
Yeah, I mean, they've already pushed up, right, to contest that sniper and get that damage on, so they're just going to get right on into it. Jordy's already there, but he can't get the follow-up. Instead, it's, well, a couple of other players of Kekminian Samurai who do go down. Some nice frags coming through, but Eon, importantly, does escape.
Does meet up with his scouts as well, so he is safe and sound for the time being, and DM not going to chase that one any further for the time being. Cap up that second, make sure you've got it secured, knowing full well you still don't have to worry about the demo. Go for the exchange and choke, actually, as Juxta eats a little bit of damage before popping, which means his Uber is actually going to fade around the same time, but we'll have to see how this goes. Eon is kind of disconnected, manages just to meet up with his scout buddy once more, and as the rest of the team from DM is kind of just wrapped around to mid, they're getting maybe pincered a little bit here, getting flanked as Eon hits a nice little surf, but will not be able to live as he gets Minecrafted by KN, and will have to, well, go into the respawn queue. Flick, can't quite get anything either. zambz heads up play, finds that pipe, and DM are looking in control all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, really nicely done. I love that trade, right, because the positioning that kind of the med, and Aeon in particular for Minion Samurai was so disastrous, right? They had to back out through choke, and then they couldn't heal anybody else, and everybody who's still left in from KMS just died immediately. Bloke is going to try and keep themselves alive, we'll backpedal, we'll buy them some time to play this last, but it's going to be the cap of the second coming through, and Dirty Maggots have a decent ad here. They're going to get ready to push on through. Importantly, the Sentry will be up, and they have a lot to work with, but notably, not that Uber, and not that crits either, if we see Dirty Maggots getting quick enough, but they're going to be pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, they want to move quickly here. They're probably aware that maybe a crit screen could be on the cards as they Uber in straight away from the top side, find a Sentry right away as well. Nothing else so far, though. Not getting as much ground here as they need to. Getting a lot of cap time, though, which will force players out to the point, but it doesn't matter as the crits finally come out. SNH gets 2 with the laser beams. zambz the only one left alive, and he just narrowly manages to escape for the time being, but yeah, that's unfortunately botched last push for DM, and it went a lot worse than the Samurai attempt went so far, actually, as he tries to put down another cheeky little sticky trap and jump away back to his team with the Samurai already on the chase as well, and he might just get caught off. Okay, wasn't sure he could get cut off there, but he does escape, which is the crucial part. And Bomo is up on the sniper, which you don't see that often on Sunshine outside of last.
Yeah, no, it's not super common, but if anybody is going to do it, right, it's going to be Bomo. Bomo loves to play the sniper. Doesn't matter what map. He's just like, I see a sightline, I shoot down it. And you know what? I vibe with it. Bomo's so good on this. I know that he's not had the greatest success so far this series, but he needs to warm up. Lunch is in just a second. They've got places to play and things to do. But so does Mac. Jumps in with that Uber, cuts off, and does take down a player immediately. In fact, they get 2.
Yeah, zambz taken down crucially. Very, very good for this last push they want to do here. Now, Juxta is going to have an Uber very soon, so unless the Samurai move very quickly here, they're going to have to worry about that. With the Heavy coming up as well, potentially at least, they actually don't opt for it just yet. And second hasn't been capped yet either, as SNH actually gets killed by a flanking KN. Mac, nice little pipe there, but with that second being the Knight, they can't really force this last push just yet. They're going to have to cap this off first, and even though they're still winning fights here and there, Flick just picking up a nice little free K throughout that whole exchange, It does buy them that time. Juxta now has his Uber. There's going to be a couple of respawners, crucially Bomo immediately coming up on that heavy as well. They want to hold this, and they have a nice opportunity to do so as SNH picks up the sniper rifle for this opportunity for the Samurai to find their way into this last. It's still 0-0, by the way, and it's been over 10 minutes, so I think our desk was pretty on spot when they said that this could be slow. This could be a very, very slow map, and I guess SNH is going to try to be the difference maker here. One shot onto this demo could blow things wide open, but he moves away at just the right time, and he's going to have to work for this one.
Slow, but it certainly has been action-packed. Many a pick found by these players. It's SNH looking to add their own name to that list with this sniper, but right now their team is getting spammed off quite a lot. Dirty Maggots likely expecting the sniper. We've seen so much of sniper into last so far this series, and on Sunshine certainly does work quite well.
Yeah, it's the one angle that you can really take here on the left. You got to peek deep, and the sentry is really making it hard to get that not without aim punch, but it's an opportunity, and with the sentry only being level 1, surely someone's going to spam it out sooner rather than later. You just got to worry about Jordy kind of locking down that side as well. And maybe zambz is just going to bomb right in. Beautiful little bomb around. Does get the teleporter down, which is a crucial pick, but also get some damage onto Juxta, which somebody could have followed up if they were in position, but I guess the Samurai have opted that with the sniper as well. You don't want to risk them suddenly pushing you. Play it slow, play it safe, see what you can do. Maybe catch somebody out if they are too aggressive. And looks like Bloke wants to switch off of something here. Maybe go for the man-treads or something like that. That could be an interesting choice. Getting into the sentry. Yeah, it looks like it because he's definitely on gunboats. There you go. That is indeed the man-treads. Making it a little bit easier to get around these curves on last.
There is a sentry up, so will be helpful for, well, actually bombing while that's happening. And I think the question kind of comes, are DM available? Sorry, are they aware that this could be coming towards them? So they've got to be ready for this bomb, because otherwise it's going to be an absolute disaster. The shots try and pick him up, but they get it! Tries to escape to that teleporter, but it just doesn't happen. KMS have found their opening now. They just need to leverage it. They just need to buy that little lick of time.
Yeah, a little bit of time for the soldiers to come back into this, and DM are going to be scrambling to have this hold stick. Truly disgusting what the mantras that you do. Just a pure 90-degree turn directly around the corner. Absolutely disgusting, and it works to get Juxta out of the equation. That Uber out of play. Now, the Samurai have to make this full Uber push stick, which neither team has managed to do so far. Sunshine, notoriously difficult, proving once more just why it's so hard to get into this last, but with the control in their favor for quite a bit here, the Samurai are going to try their way once more. The sentry is on a different spot for once, catches him out a little bit, but will get taken down. Now they just have to worry about killing players, and as they rotate around, KN does get taken down as the first player to die for defensive side. A little bit of damage on the heavy as well. They finally managed to focus him down. They're ticking off the checklist. They're finding the frags. It's just zambz as the real defender left, with Jordy laying in a bit of groundwork as well, and they are finding the frags where they need to. Slowly but surely on the defensive side, SNH versus zambz is basically the only fight left here, and zambz finds the pipe he needs to hold it.
Yeah, really, really nicely done by Dirty Maggots. They hold strong. Juxta gets really good health uptime on a lot of those players and allows them to just contest Kekminian Samurai. That was a really important part of it, whereas I feel like Aeon was a lot more spread out and separated from their team, had to focus on just one player who just wasn't eating the damage. But Dirty Maggot's going to lock this in, go, okay, 20 seconds left. Well, there's no point in pushing it.
Yeah, you might as well just try if you're the Samurai, even though you got a full Uber to go up against. Maybe this is it. Maybe zambz just finds some crazy frag here. Sentry already goes down, but now he's just kind of caught a bit of cap time by Bloke, and they get the force out of Juxta just to make sure that maybe with their remaining push here, they have a bit of overtime because of the cap time, so they might just send themselves in there once more, but with that ticking away very, very quickly now, nobody's really going to get the leverage, and it is going to be a round reset after 15 minutes of grueling back and forth on Sunshine. We're going to see our second mid-fight finally, and neither team managing to get those last pushes down just yet, but the Samurai getting a lot more opportunities to try, while DM only having a bit of control a couple of times and, well, not having any more success either.
Thorny, man, you got to promise me. This is like the first series of the day. Please, let's not have like 40 minutes of aggressive overtime, bro. I could feel it in my heart and soul. Dirty Maggots are locked in on playing this slow and steady, and Kekminian Samurai just aren't quite able to make it happen. They found good opportunities. Yes, the Mantreads pick with swap was really, really good, but they couldn't convert it, and they need to be able to take those opportunities and take them all the way to the bank. Good damage across the board here, but they can't quite finish off Jordy. However, AVH being so low, and Jordy slips away, finally gets taken down as KMS see their chance.
Yeah, Bloke finds Af as well. Juxta gets taken down. They do find Eon. Okay, a nice little flank there to get that crucially keeping the team in this, and maybe just getting a nice little frag here onto Mac as well, potentially. Does clean that kill up. He's working his magic. And just probably keeping DM in this and giving them another chance to hold this last, because they effectively wiped on mid, and this is not going to be the easiest thing in the world. But with those 2 frags especially, they are delaying KMS for so long that they can't even really get into second just yet. They have to wait for their respawners to come in. Jordy can at least be a little bit aggressive here. Maybe the fact that the entire team can kind of move a little bit forward here, and the Samurai are respecting that as well. They understand that it's going to be a bit of an Uber ad. Well, not much actually. Juxta started building rather late, and Eon did meet up with his team sooner, but still, it's going to be more equal than they would like to, and they can't just get second for free, which is going to make it a little bit tougher. And I think it's the first time we're really seeing a second to mid stalemate here on Sunshine. I think so.
Yeah, I think we've seen it once or twice, but yeah, I mean, it's not super common, at least in this game so far. A fadeaway bomb right now. I'm interested to see what, well, Kekmin and Samurai are actually going to do to pressure this. I feel like Dirty Maggots, despite the fact that obviously they are on the back foot holding in second here, don't feel any pressure to, like, move forward. Some good damage coming through. Jordy will get the pack, so it's not going to lead too much, but a couple of players going down. The bomb from Bloke looked like it could maybe have amounted to something, but alas, he just craters out there, and well, it's a good pick coming through. Pressure, however, now is absolutely onto Aeon, who's trying to backpedal, keep their demo alive desperately here, but cannot do such a thing. Has to pop the Uber as well. 25 HPs, gets some arrows down, but not quite the kill.
Yeah, very unfortunate when you try to send in 2 people and zambz kills both of them with a single pipe. I think that kind of immediately stunts your 4-man sack for the medic, but what can you do, right? Look, it's a full Uber now for DM. Prime opportunity to try and make something happen, but he's still only on mid. You still have to work for it.
Certainly do. But I want to go back to that point about zambz, right? Like, this is night and day from the zambz we saw on Gullywash.
Yes.
This is a guy who, you know, outclasses Mac. He was kind of set on the desk, and I don't think it's a particularly controversial opinion.
Oh, wait, Bloke with the spike.
But oh my god, no.
No way.
He's getting this stab. There's no way. No, looks at them. He's aware. They know. Standing on top of him. Then what is that? That was an aura stand right there. Bloke goes down. Sorry, buddy. You may be a bloke, but you're not that well trained with a knife. Gonna now head towards that last. It's gonna be the Uber still for Juxta here. I don't know if they're gonna have enough time to have the ad, but there at least gonna be a player up. Surely they could just walk in here.
Yeah, surely, but Eon is gonna get his own Uber very soon as well, so this hold is still not in the question necessarily for the side of the Samurai as they get their Uber much later, and will be able to chase out these DM players fairly easily back into lobby as well. So this hold is gonna stay for now. They're not gonna give this one up just yet. They're gonna have a little bit more time to really establish themselves here. And the Ubers are now slightly disconnected, but by 15%, that's not much at all on a last push, especially when you have to cover so much ground early. And Jordy goes down, that just means that there's absolutely no aggression here. Matter of fact, you got a scout with Flick going very aggressively through dungeon, maybe seeing if he can find something. And it is going to be a DM now being able to at least retake lobby, but they're not going to get much into last here at all. There's so much defense being mounted. SNH already up on the NG again. Bloke does get taken on the side, so perhaps this opens things up a little bit as the scout charges ahead to get onto Mac as well, but will not get that frag. Sentry eventually goes down. SNH is going to switch off. Mac just actually dies to zambz. zambz suddenly really finding the damage he needs to the frags here, and look at that. Off the back of that, nothing else to protect the point, and there you go. DM finally get around.
Bro, after 20 minutes of like pushes with Ubers like not working and like people flubbing up, it's the dry push that works. They had Uber at the end, yes, but what actually made that work was DM kind of going, okay, well, we see a player that's really far forward. We can catch them immediately. We've already killed, I think, Flick at that point. Yeah, it doesn't really matter that kind of, I think it was Jordy, was dead in that situation. They just push through, they take the round, and they just push right on through. We are going to have a pause, as you guys saw come through. Mac is having some issues. Hopefully those get sorted ASAP. I believe in Mac. You know, he needs that Mac mode back. With only 5 minutes on the clock to win a round. Oh, no, sorry, that's not how that works.
Yeah.
We're progressive overtime.
Right.
So they have an infinite amount of time to pick up 2 rounds.
Technically.
However, there's still one available over to the other side. I don't know. I think Dirty Maggots, especially with picking up that round, they've really started to get not only the momentum, but very much their confidence back. And I think with that, this game might be a wrap-up. It might take some time, as again, Dirty Maggots are quite a slow team to especially in comparison to KMS. But I think they have it. I think they have it in hand.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity for them to really show what they're made of, get that mental back in check potentially as well. Although they have a pretty strong mental game to begin with. I mean, we saw it during the TF2 finals as well, right? Where it was a grueling series against Mandem, and while Mandem cracked under the pressure, DM kept cool. So like, I don't think that's going to be the biggest issue. They might have been a little, tilted for the first map, especially losing 5-2 was quite nasty. But they're looking on top of their game for now. Going to have the opportunity to maybe extend their lead a little bit as well, make it a lot tougher for the Samurai. Because, yeah, it is 5 minutes and then we're into overtime, and then it's only one more round to win for DM. So it would probably favor them to not even get another round and just stall for 5 minutes, considering the first one took 20. It might not be the worst idea, but at the same time, that's enough opportunity for the Samurai to get another round on the board, and then suddenly you are having to worry about losing one and losing.
I think you're looking at this and you're like, if you are DM, you're like, oh yeah, I really want to play passive. We don't need to push anything. We just need another round in overtime. That's fine. My worry is if you take your foot off the gas, I think that KMS are going to see that opportunity and they're absolutely going to put the pedal to the metal and just try and run you over. They'd be very careful right now. I think that Dirty Maggots could easily lose out on this one for a very simple reason of there's a win on the mid and it is destruction coming out. Now, they have held on well. Even in disad, they've actually really managed to make this last hold look pretty darn solid. But it just takes one slip up, and if they have a lapse in, focus, it could be really brutal. The tech issue is now resolved. We're going to get through to the next round, but I need DM to remain locked in.
Yes, they have to find the perfect balance between just how passively they want to play it. Mac? Okay, I was going to say, he's going to be on the base jumper. Very interesting there. Just teasing us for a split second, but no, it's not going to be happening. It's going to be a normal mid, and we'll have to see just how the Samurai try to find their response here. They haven't spent much time on these mid fights just yet. We've seen more time spent on Last and Sunshine so far, and maybe they'll find a response here. Maybe they will get that wipe that you spoke of, and suddenly we're back to 1-0 as Jordy gets in deep across with a soldier meeting him in choke, deciding to maybe turn around and meet up with the rest of his team again instead. And well, the positioning is very interesting at this point, with DM basically wrapping their combo around through Cafe. But KN will be the first to fall. It's going to be seeing how, with this lack of positioning on the other side of DM, they can make anything work. Silvs gets into the enemy side there as well, but crucially the bombs working out kind of well, actually, for either side here with the aggression across. Flick eventually gets zambz, and that's probably it, as Af escorts his medic back out. And they're going to try to, well, go back to the old familiar. We're going to be sitting on last again for a while, I think.
Yeah, we're back in the saddle again, and KMS, as I said, won that mid, but most notably, they did not kill Juxta. It was really close, like a 17 HB on Juxta. Honestly, the fact that Juxta can just surf away from that was a key part of what means that, frankly, DM didn't lose that round on the spot, so they are going to hold on to second. They are going to be a little bit more comfortable. KMS do not push too aggressively off the back of that. I think they know, hey, if we get to overtime, it's fine, it doesn't really matter. We're going to have to win 2 rounds regardless. So let's not rush ourselves. We don't have to do this, right?
Yeah. Doesn't really matter if you win the first round now or in 3 minutes time.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're going to do 2. And, I mean, if they're already, at least in map control again, I don't think they're too worried necessarily, unless they mess up royally, of DM extending their lead. And then again, I don't think DM are necessarily going to want to with the time ticking off. They would just want to play that overtime as well. But Mac going down, Kaon getting a bit of free realm here. Might just open things up a little bit. Jordy tries to go for a sack himself. It does a little bit of damage to Eon, but they're keeping it locked tight for the most part. And with zambz getting taken down crucially as Silvs gets in and Bloke a beautiful bump onto Juxta, who holds, who does not pop on those. And will have to worry about scouts chasing him down, but not quite finding that either. Will hold on crucially. Nerves of steel, letting him stay in there and making sure that the Samurai aren't getting away with those guerrilla tactics just yet.
Yeah, really bold play from Juxta, because I think a lot of medics would have popped there. But if you do, you have no demo, you have no Uber, you are just going to get pushed in, right? Like, you're going to go to that last. And again, DM certainly could hold, but I wouldn't want to rely on it. I wouldn't want to bet on it. It's not an easy position to find yourself. And Juxta going, well, I don't think I'm going to die here. I have trust in my team, and it pays off massively, I think. Yeah.
His team had trust in him surviving and also did a good job protecting him. So the Samurai gonna have to find a different approach to this. A little bit of pressure here now through Cafe, but they're eating a lot of damage for their troubles as well. So It's not the easiest approach as Flick just kind of gets taken down. zambz eats a lot of damage, but again, will live. Counterbomb comes through. Beautifully done by Jordy. Will just trade out for zambz though. Not get away with anything more as KN kind of gets free realm onto Flowers here. Nobody's really looking at all. He's flags behind the entire team. Beast's jump though. Doesn't matter. Nobody's looking anyway. He's just getting free roam here as the Ubers popped out of Juxta. Eventually out of Eon as well. Much, much better for the Samurai. But is it going to be enough? Are they actually going to be able to find anything? With all these players kind of spread out by DM just all over the place. They're not really getting much cleanup. Jordy eventually dies. And the positioning is gonna favor the Samurai again, but it's just a grand big reset. DM doing a good job kiting the tail end of that Uber and not giving up too much ground for it as Bloke tries to bomb across. Not really finding anything more of a flashbang really as Flick maybe trying to clean up, but they're just not finding any leverage onto the second whatsoever here. They lose Bloke. Flick tries to charge ahead, immediately eats a pipe and just dies. Back goes down as well, and we might just be to another round reset at this rate unless DM really want to cap this mid off now, which they might with Eon eating a lot of damage. Beautiful surf to get out of there though. Just about living, but the sides have flipped, and we're now looking at DM trying to push second instead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. DM getting some really nice fights there in a way that I think they were struggling, especially earlier in the series. So getting the opportunities they also sorely need. Now setting themselves ahead as KN already heading towards lower right now, looking for a chance to maybe pick someone off, but I don't believe it's going to lead to very much. Jordy, a lot of damage, but doesn't go down and continues to allow DM to get that pressure going. Is there a player behind as well here? Gotta be kind of careful. Oh no, okay, that was just reading the map. Bomo, the rest of the team looking at this one and going, okay, well, how do we crack this? It certainly hasn't been easy. It was a dry push off the back of some really mistaken positioning, but it's not going to work that way this time. You lose players immediately, and KN does survive.
Does live, okay.
Really nicely done, some great movement.
Escape artist right there, managing to get away with it just about. But Mac finding that crucial little sticky trap onto the combo, onto Jordy and Af, means that that push attempt was immediately stunted. And at this point, DM activating the switch, knowing, okay, we're going to go into overtime. This is now where we have to win the round to, well, win this map and get it over with and then go into our next game afterwards. But for the time being, they still have to close this one out. And now that we're into overtime, it is going to be the first team to score 2 points that wins the map, which means the Samurai have a chance to come back. If they win 2 rounds, they have won. DM only needs 1. It's going to be down to who will be able to pull it off. Now, these Sunshine lasts are so difficult to push, so DM are going to have to find something. KN manages to slip on in with Jordy following up a little bit as well, but are they going to find any form of leverage here? They're eating so much damage onto the side of DM. Everybody's into the double digits, the low double digits. Jordy and KN get cleaned up as well. And that might just allow Samurais to do something here, but maybe they'll also just want to hold and go for the round reset. Anything's possible. We have infinite time, technically.
Well, that's the thing, right, is I think KMS would love for a chance to push out, but this is Sunshine Lost, man. Pushing out is not easy. You can get caught in lobby. You can get caught coming out. The enemy team could just backpedal. If you're trying to use an Uber to get there anywhere, well, it can just look really moot. KMS understand that these options are not really available to them. They need to kill the medic, they need to kill the demo, they need to get a couple of kills and some really important players to turn this into anything successful. Bomber is over on the sniper now, and this could be that X factor, that one opportunity that DM also sorely need just to lock this game out. And they only need 1.
Yeah, but they're already holding around it so much. Look how far forward the Samurai are. Bomo needs to peek so deep to get anything going here. And I feel like if his patience starts running out, he might just go for some kind of hero shot. But it's not that easy on Sunshine to really pull that one off, as they're really trying to give him this deep angle. But holding it close means that you're not going to have an easy time really getting that that sniper in there. He's finally getting a deeper peek, but Eon is positioned perfectly. Doesn't have to worry about anything. Jordy dies to a Mac trap as well. Flick still surviving on the NG despite eating a lot of damage. And with that sentry still in play as well, that means the soldiers don't get as much free realm as they want. So a minute 20 on the clock. DM squarely trying to just find a way to make this fit into last, as the Samurai are perfectly content waiting it out, trying for another mid-fight and then round instead. Oh, that's an angle onto the demo, but doesn't quite find the shot. It's going to be a rotation perhaps, as they're trying to get from the top side now. Certainly opportunity. The Pyro close to deny the demo, and the sentry in that position as well makes it not the easiest thing in the world. It really is so tough to find something here. And you're banking so much on the sniper play now that you're just concentrating on enabling it, which makes it so much harder to do anything else about the stuff that the sniper can't deal with. So they're just going to go for the Uber exchange instead, see if that can find something. And then the Chaos maybe gets the sniper a headshot, but Bomo's taking his time to peek, and will he get a shot off? Oh my god, he does!
That
just
was
as Uber fades.
That was a split-second chance, but they're going to try and trade players back. Silvers will not let them get in here. This is oh so key. They've got to push forward right now, but they just don't see it. Maybe they're going to try and build that Uber, but there's really not very much time left. Af is buying so much space, but the Heavy is so far forward. You've got to be very careful here. Looking for a chance to play the point. The sticks go on. Gets about a third here. They can make this. Mac is getting low. The med is back in, but they're trading players all across here, defending the point oh so desperately as the timer ticks up. There's a point-blank pipe, but it just doesn't kill. zambz is trying his darndest, but he needs to kill this med. They get it in the nick of time, and Dirty Maggots make it happen in overtime here.
It was looking shaky for a little while there, but eventually they come out on top. It took a lot to move these mountains. GG's to both of the teams. It was a very arduous battle, but the DM managed to round it out, get themselves another round in the upper bracket, and it was looking shaky for a while. Certainly a good fight put up by the Samurai minions, but ultimately DM continued in the upper bracket, and I'm sure the couch is going to be very excited to break this one down as well as they can. Perhaps.
All right, well, how many times have I seen Dirty Maggots pressed against the back wall and then they rely on Sniper just to bail them out of another situation in a playoff game? Wandom, reactions?
That was a very, very intense aim and to a pretty, let's say, slow-paced first or third map, right? Like those bot mode headshots coming in the final seconds are so huge. The first one onto Eon to sort of set up the push in the first place, where they take that trade. At the end of the trade is not that amazing. They don't really have that much position to work with, but getting that first headshot, finding the follow-up body shot, then onto Bloke and almost shooting down Silvz as well. That's really what allows the Maggots to come in and actually successfully push in the last.
Be polite, be efficient, have a plan to kill everyone you meet. The Sniper class, Demol, it seems to be working. No matter how much you hate the class, it seems to be working.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a crutch for them later on, or is it really the gift that keeps on giving?
I mean, board mode was honestly the best replacement they could have with the way they play. They just needed a sneaky rat, a sneaky smart rat. Let's just say that. Nah, I like it. Board mode is really good.
Very good, very good. So I was watching minoin Samurai. God, I hate that name. And it's just I'm struggling to pick out a person that was playing badly. That's all. I desperately want to see who was kind of dropping the ball, but I think everyone was playing relatively well. It felt more like a team effort. Like there was times where everybody wanted to help, so they would throw one soldier in, two soldier in, then maybe another scout, and then suddenly you have Mac, maybe one other scout kind of missing, and they're disconnected from Eon, and then Eon is like not healing anybody on his own. Oh well, maybe we'll get the direct answers from the boys themselves. We welcome to the couch members from Dirty Maggots, or DM I should say. Welcome Jordy, welcome zambz. First off, obviously, I forgive the echo. You try your best to talk over it. But first, how are you feeling, Jordy, after a game like that?
Pretty good. Hello. Yeah, no, Gully sucked, obviously, but it was the first map of the day. So we just had to lock in.
zambz, what was going on with Gully? Do you not like water? Is water an evil place for you? They keep bullying you in that water location.
I'm experimenting. Experiment failed so far.
What was the thought behind the Gullywash pick? Or was it just a map that you were feeling good? You want to prioritize your soldier sort of like feel-good factor? Or was it just some discussion about the Gullywash map in particular?
I don't know. We usually just really like Gully, and all that happened is that we lost two mids, got wiped, and they had a good last push into water. And I think we fed into their second and then also got wiped, and they had added into last again. And the last push was just very good. They kept doing the water push, it kept working.
Obviously, you're back into the best of threes. That means you can use tech pauses again. Hey.
Yeah.
And do Do you guys really appreciate the tech pauses? Are they like a really crucial tool in your arsenal, or do you guys not really think that highly of them?
They're definitely really useful. The tag pulse that we used was more just because like Jockster felt like he needed one. He just wanted to like go outside for like a minute. We didn't really discuss anything, honestly.
And then finally, zambz, about this sunshine, like pretty intense for like a long sort of, period of the game, about 20 minutes or something, 0-0. Do you guys ever feel like fatigue from these best of threes? Do you feel it at this point, or is it more like after a long day? Though?
Yeah, definitely not at this point in the day. Just the first match of the day. We're just getting started.
All right, if we could pass the mic on down to D-Mall here so he doesn't get totally bored here. D-Mall, have you got anything to talk to your fellow player at all? Any sort of questions, quizzicals, maybe even call-outs?
Not really.
Fair enough, fair enough. Wandom, bail me out here. You must have some smart questions backed up for the boys.
You've now played, or I guess my question is more so like, how surprised were you to not win this 2-0? I guess both of you feel, I would imagine both of you feel quite confident against this MAC team. How,
Yeah. Just kind of messed up the map picks. Gully is like a hard map to like be the first map, if that makes sense. It's like a really volatile map, and whilst we're really confident in it, if we're not locked in, it's just like, yeah, it's not the map you want to play first. That was my bad on the map picks, honestly.
You're zambz, you're now coming up, now that you've won this game, you're about to play against Mandem. It's going to be ETF2 finals rematch.
Yep.
Do you think you're going to continue your streak against them? You've obviously kind of, the last two times you played, it's been all three maps, but it kind of has been you coming out on top every time. Do you think that you're going to be able to continue that streak? What sort of stands out for you in that matchup?
We are continuing the streak, yes. That's the plan.
Is there when you go up against Mandem, is there any kind of specific preparation that you do for Mandem versus other teams?
No, we try to play our game, try to win. Simple as.
Actually, I have a question. Why did you guys ban product that early against MAC team?
We thought we'd like beat them on like every map, but like product always has like that chance of SNH just hitting everything. Like that felt like the most volatile option, but yeah, we should have probably kept it open. We 4-0'd them in a scrim yesterday.
Yeah, and I was very surprised about the first pick Gully. Like, I don't think it's a particularly good map for you guys, but the main thing is that it's a pretty good map for the MAC team, in my opinion.
Nah, it's honestly like we really like that map. It's, I don't know, can't really say much besides we like it. I know we knew they like it as well, but we've always beaten them on it. That's it. Also, last LAN we beat them in like 7 minutes on it, so it'd be really funny if we did that again.
I want to talk to Jordy. Jordy, obviously, it's not just this one team you're going to be playing up against. You've got the full day of upper bracket to look forward to. How do you spend your time preparing? Do you do a lot of anti-stratting for the teams? Is it mainly focus inwards, or do you actually just take it one match at a time?
It's a little bit of everything. Like we take it one match at a time, but at the same time, all the teams have like slightly different playstyles. All of teams have like little quirks on like when they have disadvantage. Some teams hold really close. Some teams give you the space. Every team you gotta play slightly differently, honestly. So we do counter strat it a little bit in that sense, but it's just a matter of experience against them.
Magical. So we actually have a visual aid to showing you the upper bracket here. So I'm too busy fixated on who the background players are, but anyway, it looks like there's no surprises I'm seeing. Witness win their game. We still need to find out who's winning it between White Lotus and Joey Guns at the moment.
The Yak team had like a really close first map against the Americans.
Yeah. It was fascinating to watch. I was kind of snapping my neck, like flicking between both games. But oh wait, no, the live just in White Lotus have won that. They've updated the graphic now, so it will be a Witness versus White Lotus game. obviously you guys versus Mandem, and that's probably going to be our coverage for the next games coming up. You got any words or throwdown words for Mandem in the next game at all?
No.
No. What about you, zambz? You throw down words, right?
We're all 6 early birds.
6 early
and they're all
birds.
6 worms.
All right. Well, early bird gets the worm. Let's take it on over to a little break, and then hopefully we'll be back for more of our poLANd LAN 2026. We'll see you then.